Sounds really cringy.
$40. It's pretty good.
Was it Joker wanted us to play it for a what's it called, a game night?
Oh, really?
Like us to fly in a squadron on multiplayer. That'd be interesting.
If only $40, it's not bad. I doubt I could install it though. But we should have game night today as well. This goes by. It's only a 20-minute video, but we could probably do a game night. Probably.
I just want to imagine just me, just all of us in like a wing.
Oh yeah, an entire
Smud Squad.
So there's only five. There's only five characters,
squadron.
right?
What do you mean?
In the game, like there's 5 Imperials and there's 5 Rebels, right? Or is it 4 and 4?
It's 4 and 4, so there's
okay.
8. There's so all the classes you can have. There's a Y-wing, a X-wing, a U-wing, and a A-wing.
Oh, wow.
So you've got interceptor, support, snub fighter, and bomber.
Yeah.
And then you have the same for each side. So you just have each of us in our own ship.
Yeah, Imperials would be cool. I like those ships. All right, I guess we got to do some Renegade Cut time. It's it's just politics and racism. Every video, it's just imbue our feelings into the movies we watch. All right. Well,
another thing, I did see the article saying apparently that this character uses they/them pronouns. That's not turned up in the game yet. I guess that's just meta material so far.
Oh, they J.K. Rowling did. Okay.
Well, I don't know if they J.K. Rowling did. It's probably, maybe it's in the game. I haven't came up across it yet, but they've never said they/them or he or she or anything about the character. So
all right.
Anyway,
okay.
I guess we're covering Renegade Cut, and we're going to be seeing how we're a Nazi or whatever, racist or whatever it is today. Awesome.
Yeah, how does Macaulay Culkin get revenge on other white people? I don't get it. Like, what's he doing?
He's defending himself, and he's defending his property. That makes him evil
Against the white man, who is a white man.
That's my guess.
It's like, what
that would be my guess.
Maybe if Macaulay Culkin was black, I'd be like, all right, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't know. But white kid versus 2 white burglars. I don't get it. Okay. Anyway, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Smudcast number 109. We're doing another Renegade Cut. We do about one or two Renegade Cuts a month. It's always good for your soul. Just to remind yourself where you are on the political spectrum, because he's going to tell you. So, whenever you watch a movie,
spoilers, you're all far right. I don't know where you are.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it really doesn't matter right. What part of the world you're in. You are so far away from Renegade Cut, you're probably far right. Yeah, so that's how it works. So we're watching this is a fun movie. I was a kid. I love this film. For Christmas, I wouldn't call it an official Christmas film because it's kind of violent and comical. The same way you wouldn't really call like Die Hard a Christmas film. It's kind of violent.
Die Hard's a Christmas film.
It is a Christmas film. Okay,
it is.
I don't know, but it's fun to watch. It's comical. It's simple. It's slapstick. It's slapstick violence. It's not something to be taken seriously. But YouTube is a place for finding new opinions on things you previously thought were obvious. And so we have Renegade Cut talking about...
What about dumb opinions?
Well, not dumb, just really, really stretched opinions. I want a pizza to be like 3 feet
Monday
long.
Matt joke. Monday Matt had once said the Phantom Menace had dumb opinions. And I just cut that out. Now it's on another clip on morning nonsense.
Dumb opinions.
Dumb opinions.
Dumb opinions.
All right.
Oh, yeah, I found this absolutely horrific thing just on Amazon. Actually, it's probably better to just send the image itself. It is quite horrifying.
An image on Amazon. What are you talking about? Oh, it's a bobblehead of Anakin Skywalker from the Clone Wars.
Anakin Skywalker bobblehead. From Clone Wars, though.
Yeah, that's,
Not even the 2D Clone Wars.
Shut up. It's like, because it's now a collector's item, it's now like 40 quid or something.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, the animation style in the 3D is easy to model, so. I've seen a lot worse. Oh, Dr. Crow, hey, covered this on your stream. Really? Yeah, this is 20 minutes of fun. Just fun political weirdness and racism and whatever. I don't know what to call it.
Fun.
All right, let's see how old this thing is. This is from 2019, November. So almost a year old. Okay, Renegade Cut. Let's see how we do.
Home Alone was the origin of the kids rule 90s. That Nickelodeon, parents just don't understand, corporations pretending to be kids, claptrap of blank
Hello,
check,
fellow
Baby
kids.
Stay Out, and a million other pretenders to the Home Alone throne.
Blank check, I love blank check.
Adams just murked her entire summer camp.
Yeah, something Wednesday Adams would do.
Just straight up burned them alive. I mean, I assume they survived much in the same way that no matter what Kevin McAllister did to the Wet Bandits, their bodies would absorb the pain, physical trauma, and bounce back up like Looney Tunes characters. But at its heart, Home Alone, which is a great movie, don't at me, is a story of family, of Christmas, and of the insulated world of white, upper-middle-class suburbia.
There we go.
The socially conservative revenge fantasy of trespassers
what the
legally
fuck?
shot to death.
I told you, Spud Boy. I told you. I predicted this. I called it. It's because he's defending his property. That's why you're a Nazi if you like this movie.
Oh,
I got it. I knew it. These people are so predictable. I was joking when he said it was probably because he's defending his property. And there it is. Castle Doctrine, stand your ground. Okay, fantastic. Awesome.
That's something.
How
it was a joke. I was just joking. Okay, this was going to be the reason why. But they're beyond parody at this point, I guess.
I'm trying to wrap my brain, because isn't the Castle Doctrine specific to certain states, not a federal law? So
yeah, it depends on the state. Like you can stand your ground in every single state. I mean, I guess everyone is up to date on this because of the Boogie 2988 nonsense. But yeah, it depends. It depends. Like if you're in California, if you get shot, you're in trouble. If you get shot by an intruder, you're probably going to jail or something if you're in California. Really? But if you're like a red state, then you can do whatever you want. No, not really. But you pay attention to your state laws and everything. It all depends on what you do. Sometimes you have to be retreat. Sometimes it has to be done as a last resort. Kevin McAllister, yeah, he would be well in his rights to do whatever he wanted to the Wet Bandits.
I don't know, like, I've never ever taken this away from watching Home Alone. I've never ever sat down and watched Home Alone that, yes, this is the insulated world of the white the white upper middle class suburbia and socially conservative revenge fantasy of trespassers getting legally shot to death with no consequences due to the incredible reach of the Castle Doctrine and the Stand Your Ground.
What? Don't trespass on other people's property. How about that? How about don't break into other people's property?
They're trying to break into his property to hurt him and take all of his things.
They want to torture him to death at the end. It was luckily that guy came along and hit him both with a shovel and saved him.
Yeah, they wanted to hurt him.
No, according to
himself.
According to these weirdos who don't believe in defending yourself or private property and all that stuff, you're not allowed to do that. What you're supposed to do is let people do whatever they want, walk all over you, steal all your things, and then you're the good person for some reason.
Well, in this paragraph, he says getting legally shot to death. It's like, I don't think he had a gun. I don't recall a lethal weapon.
He doesn't kill them. He doesn't lethally harm them. He makes them slip downstairs. He hits them in the head with a can, paint. Well,
he does all kinds of horrific things to them, but doesn't shoot them, I don't think. I mean, he might shoot them with like a BB gun or something, I think.
Maybe
nothing.
Maybe a water gun or something.
No lethal force guns. It's a kids movie.
Well, no, it's a family film. It's a family Christmas film. It's enjoyable for all the family. It's something you just put on at Christmas.
Yeah, that's why the Wet Bandits don't have guns themselves and stuff, because Because that would be a little too over the top, too serious.
I swear, like the Family Guy did a skit of this where they just came in and shot the child.
All right, let's back up because that's a lot. In the United States,
it's also nonsense.
Designates that a person's home is a kind of safe zone for the homeowner or renter.
Oh no!
They can employ force, even lethal force, on anyone they deem an intruder or trespass.
Yes, the United States is a backwards country that lets you defend yourself legally. If only we were more progressive.
Yeah, we should just sit down and wait while this intruder just goes through our house, or potentially tries to harm you.
Monty Python skit where that guy's trying to sell this woman encyclopedias, and he disguised himself as a burglar, so she let him in. Are you trying to sell me encyclopedias? No, I'm just a burglar. I was gonna probably come in a little bit and rough up your stuff, maybe punch you a little bit. I don't know. Okay, but no encyclopedias then. You promise? Oh no encyclopedias. Okay, come on then. Oh, you're just a burglar. Okay, as long as you're not trying to sell me encyclopedias, everything will be fine.
Yeah, your home is supposed to be a safe place. Why?
Kind of ironic that Renegade Cut is against safe spaces.
Yeah.
I think the idea of that you have to define a safe zone as a legal safe zone, as if your property is like, oh yeah, this is a thing that someone owns. It's theirs. They can do what they want with it. It doesn't need to be designated anything else or called anything else. So I don't know where this legal safe zone term came from. Maybe this is a legal term. I've never heard of this, but I've never had the need to say, hey, I own property, therefore it's my legal safe zone.
I have to let people rob my house. How come they can't be the ones at the wrong here? How come I have to be the one? They're invading my house. They're invading my home. How come I have to be the one held responsible here? They're the ones breaking the law.
Here's criminal imagination. Commies don't want you to protect yourself and your properties. Say it ain't so. Yeah, I don't know about that whole ownership of stuff thing. What's that all about? I don't know.
Well, you can't stop me from owning property. Sorry, commies. Sorry, BreadTube.
Regardless of whether said intruder poses any legitimate threat, if the homeowner says they feel threatened by someone on their property,
that would probably kill a guy if you got hit on the head with a.
You can't just say, okay, you can't just say I feel threatened and then shoot them. There has to be some precedence there. Like they have to have maybe a gun, or you have to prove that they're there to hurt you. You can't just invite someone over and then shoot them because you don't like them. Okay, that's not how it works. It's a little more complicated than that. Okay.
I just want to imagine that it is just as simple as that. It's like, oh, hey, do you want to come over for some tea and biscuits? It's like, oh yeah, I would love some tea and biscuit. Oh, thank you. Do you want a crumpet? I'd love a crumpet. Oh, I'm really starved. I had a good day. It's like all of a sudden you're a threat. Bah.
Like for example, if you call the cops and they found someone dead in your house, and you say, "Oh, I was just defending myself," there better be some signs of a break-in or signs of a struggle or something like that, or they better have a weapon of some sort, because there has to be some evidence that they were indeed capable of harming you in some way, and you had no other chance. You had no other way of resolving the issue other than lethal force. It's not just, I feel threatened now, all of a sudden, out of the clear blue sky, now I'm going to use lethal force at no consequence. It doesn't work that way. Like if McAllister were a little older and he actually killed the wet bandits, he probably would be well in his rights, because there's so much evidence of breaking in the ring. They were not invited over. None of that stuff. So McAllister specifically, if he were a little older and he shot them to death, he would be well in his rights in most states, I believe.
We go in peace, shoot to kill.
Can be eliminated by any means necessary.
I'm going to give you to the count of 10 to get your ugly, no good keister off my property before I pump your guts full of lead.
Castle Doctrine
this is that guy, yeah.
So far that you can walk onto someone's property and into their garage to talk to them, completely unarmed, and the homeowner can kill you in the garage without legal consequences. This infamously happened in Montana.
I don't think it's that way.
But he used Castle Doctrine as an excuse to legally kill the victim. See, the homeowner had a grudge against him for allegedly sleeping with his wife. Castle Doctrine was just the excuse, but it completely protected him from prosecution.
Well, yeah. See, there's other extenuating circumstances, weren't there? Renegade Cut. He didn't just walk into the guy's garage and the guy just shot him. These things can count. They can definitely make an issue more complicated than, hey, I'm going to walk on your garage because you invited me over. Also, did the guy invite him to the garage? Did he want him over there, or did the guy just intrude onto his property without being requested over? What was the actual thing going on there? What were the circumstances? Because it all factors in, but you can't usually. Okay, you can't just invite someone over and then shoot them for no reason. There has to be some circumstances that get you out of legal trouble. You can't just go around murdering people in your house.
I'm surprised he hasn't pulled up a book yet, but now he's doing video footage from long ago. And you're like, how does this relate? Like, okay, lethal force.
Well, yeah. Also, yeah, it is ultimately up to the process. I mean, the people, like ultimately up to the authorities, whether they determine it a good ground for castle doctrine or stand your ground, whatever it is. It's ultimately up to the authorities. But the written law is usually, okay, don't kill people in your house unless you have good reason to.
Many states in the U.S. have strengthened these conditions by creating a stand your ground law, which is effectively castle doctrine for anywhere else outside your home. Stand your ground laws establish a right by which a person may defend themselves against threats or perceived threats.
This could be a long video, isn't it?
Lethal force. Now everyone has a right to
we started off with Home Alone, so stand your ground law and castle doctrine, right? I'm looking at old footage and news. What's going on here now?
I don't. Even as a Brit who doesn't know that much about these laws, just from the description he's giving, it already sounds quite reasonable. If someone is threatening you, you're able to defend yourself. That sounds fine. Okay, I get it.
Sorry, we're allowed to defend ourselves in our own house.
I don't immediately just think, well, it's totally legal, acceptable to just kill anyone.
Yeah,
this can just get away with murder.
Implies because first of all, McAllister didn't even use lethal force directly. He set up traps, which they wouldn't have fallen into if they weren't invading his home.
Well, no, obviously he's doing the Batman thing where if something he does happens to kill someone, well, it's not his fault. If he pulls the trigger on a gun and the gun fires at a person, it's the gun that killed him, not Batman.
I think originally the castle doctrine was before there were actual lines of countries laid, so that you would say, okay, this is not legally my land, but I am in the area that other people are in, and they're of my people. I'm allowed to defend myself. This is like outside there. Before there were private laws or private property laws to do so. This is 300 years ago or whatever. So it would make sense then, but I don't think there's ever been someone, I'm going to have a castle doctrine outside of my home. I've never seen an argument for that.
I like the irony here of the same people who's like, oh, you shouldn't have this ability to defend yourself because you might kill someone who is innocent. This sort of line of logic comes from the same people who agree that you should just punch people because you think they're Nazis or they look like a Nazi or you just disagree with them. Same people.
All right, here is Evar Jentz. Thank you, sir. Anyone remember that Jennifer Lopez movie called Enough? That's an old one. Jesus, that was bad. What was that about? Was that the same topic? Someone defending themselves?
That one. I think I've only seen one Jennifer Lopez movie.
There's a few.
So
I can't remember that film.
As LiteratureDevil was saying, this really wouldn't be just an excuse to kill someone. You still can't just go up and kill someone. There has to be an investigation. They have to get witnesses. They have to see if this was actually, right or wrong or what the hell's going on. You don't just kill someone. It's like this guy was unarmed.
It's not just an excuse to murder people. Okay, You can't use it as an excuse to kill people. You have to actually feel threatened, and there has to be evidence that you're not just lying and saying, "Oh yeah, I totally just felt threatened, you guys." It's not that simple. There's usually a police investigation, and they'll either determine, you were in your well in your right to defend yourself, or that you weren't, and that you're facing some serious charges now.
I would have thought that he'd be one of the people defending these laws, because obviously if they feel threatened, they won't just punch the people. Just kill the Nazis. Bash the fash.
Yeah, you would think he'd be in defense of that, but no.
Here is Lord Yin. Thank you. In the U.S., the self-defense law is very simple. You must believe your life is jeopardy. Where whether they are armed or unarmed. At minimum, you must prove that someone intends to harm you. So a perceived form of assault or perceived form of aggression that you could say, okay, this man's about to attack me. I can defend myself before that happens. So they're making certain eye contact. They're making certain gestures, that sort of thing. Yes, I think that's reasonable. To the point of lethal force, I don't know. I'm not sure how all that all works. I'm
just
sure
gonna kill him.
I'm sure a lawyer
can usually.
Yeah. A lawyer will explain the details of, well, maybe you shouldn't try and kill the person or try to disable them or what have you. But then you have to explain why I was under duress, I was scared, I wasn't aiming, etc. So lots of things.
Don't send off a warning shot. Okay.
Oh yeah.
It's something else. It's actually called there's a whole law where you can't just shoot guns into the air. It's not something you can actually do within city limits. It might hurt somebody, something like that. It might bodily harm, that sort of thing.
What goes up has to come down.
Exactly. So it's actually more legal to actually shoot the guy rather than send off a warning shot into the air.
Well, I'll just shoot the ground. I'll shoot his foot.
The ground. I mean, it's perfectly legal to shoot the ground. I mean, I believe you can in most instances you might be able to even shoot the ground and get away with it. The only thing you might get in trouble for is a noise complaint.
Defend themselves, stand your ground laws establish that even if you could easily escape, or even if you don't have to kill the person to end the threat, you still can for whatever reason and never be prosecuted.
Yeah.
In simpler terms,
so don't break into people's houses.
Between self-defense and stand your ground is
don't
that
attack people.
Self-defense must be done when necessary, but stand your ground permits you to defend yourself with lethal force even when unnecessary. If you claim you were threatened, sometimes even if you started the conflict by, say, arming yourself with a gun and tracking down an unarmed teenager who wasn't doing anything wrong, you probably won't be convicted of anything. You might even use that notoriety to become an even bigger piece of shit, the likes of which...
Oh, here we go. Let's attack this guy who was defending himself.
I have no idea of the context of this.
Oh, this was... how many years ago was this? At least 8 or 9? Someone in chat knows this gentleman. Very, very famous scenario. Someone in chat, come on. Trayvon Martin, there it is. And Trayvon Martin was bashing this guy's head against the pavement, and he was trying to escape and trying to get away. And he was attacked. So he defended himself. George Zimmerman, there we go. And we're not saying George Zimmerman is a saint or anything like that, but he had every right to defend himself. Especially after the fact you have your head bashed in.
Are only told in campfire stories to children. The conditions of the Stand Your Ground law depends on the state and the wording of the law, but they all operate in a similar fashion. Now, some places in the U.S. don't operate on strict castle doctrine or strict Stand Your Ground. This is commonly called duty to retreat, and it works like this. You can still defend yourself if your life is definitely in danger, but if there is a reasonable opportunity to avoid killing someone, then you can't just decide to kill them anyway. This seems like the most reasonable way the law should work, but in the US, only a couple places operate this way. The states in the purple operate under both castle doctrine and stand your ground laws, so, most of the country. The states in blue operate under both castle doctrine and stand your ground laws, but in these cases, even in your car. The pink states operate under castle doctrine and stand your ground, at least in practice, and the peach states have castle doctrine, but not stand your ground.
He said duty to retreat is in multiple states,
two places in the
but there's only
America that operate
DC and whatever the fuck that is up there.
Vermont and Washington, D.C., so only one state and the District of Columbia. Castle doctrine on paper might be about your safety, but it is so broad and far-reaching that it can be exploited, such as in the case in Montana.
Okay, just a question. What law has never been exploited for some reason or another? What rule or regulation or law has never ever had some kind of loophole which people have been managed to abuse at some point? Where even if it's well-intentioned law, someone somewhere has managed to do it. It doesn't mean that the law should be abolished. What the fuck?
That's why laws tend to change. Okay, this guy got around it, so we're going to go ahead and change the law so that people can't do that anymore.
Like say if there is a loophole where you don't pay, or you don't have to, I don't know, you can legally kill someone in 12 o'clock at night while they're in York if they're Scottish or something like that. There's like, I don't know, that's a bad example. I'm trying to think of anything, but there's probably some law out there which is well-intentioned and then there's loopholes in it. And it doesn't just invalidate the whole law itself.
Yeah, the map has been slightly changed over the years. I don't know when you got that from last year on the wiki, but you could have stand your ground laws within your vehicle, which is technically your property, and sometimes there is no castle doctrine. It's just duty to retreat laws. So, which is interesting.
Yeah, dude.
If you don't
retreat, is basically just, you have to retreat, but if you have nowhere safe to go, you are allowed to use lethal force if you still are threatened.
Right.
Oh yeah, a good example: tax laws. So there are certain reasons why you should be exempt from taxes, this, that, or the other. But there are people who do abuse that and, get around loopholes to not have to pay their taxes. It doesn't mean that you should get rid of any possible way of lowering taxes for certain people, because some people do need that for whatever reason, disability, I don't know, whatever fucking reason. So that is another example of a law which is well-intentioned, but some people have abused and found their way around.
Yeah, people don't understand the concept of taxes. When you make a capital loss or you donate to a charity, that contributes to your taxes. So everyone was freaking out over what Trump's taxes were, like $750 or whatever. It's like, how much money do you think he lost that year? How much money do you think he donated that year? Like, there's...
I envy.
Yeah.
$750. That's pretty good.
That's amazing.
That's what you pay the accountants for.
Yeah, you lost money in some other way. And I would rather people lose money in the free market than have to pay the government. Okay, that's a good thing.
Your money's better in the hands of the free market than the government. It's going to spend money on bombs and cocaine and hush money.
When you guys,
well, I doubt they're going to be spending it on that. They're probably just, because what pays for the government's actual weapons and such? It's loans. Just take out large loans from the bank. Just to pay, hey, Jeff, do you think we need another nuclear bomb and maybe about 50,000 tanks? Oh, we don't have the money for it. Oh, fuck it, take out another loan. Here we go.
Sure, why not?
When you start investing...
in Renegade Cut's defense, maybe some laws should be taken out, like tax laws. That'd be good. Yeah, just give me all those pesky tax laws.
Just gonna kill them.
Yeah. When you guys get older, you will realize that investing is kind of important. You will notice, depending on how you invest, that you will lose money some years or some months or what have you. And you could contribute that to your taxes. And you will have to pay, you can pay less taxes. I'm not saying you're going to be making like crazy amounts of money because you're losing a lot of money that year, but you have to think about these things as you get more money, more debt, you're buying more things, you're selling more things. So this is all very important. And it's not, people say it's illegal to do. No, it's totally legal. And this is why we have these laws, so that you are not spending more than you don't have.
Exactly. And so that's why we have the accountants, so they can find these things. Like, oh, you made too much. I remember there was an episode of Death Clock where or Odinson, or his name is Oftenson, their manager guy, comes in. Oh, you did it again, guys. You made too much money. Which is a thing you can do, because if because your main goal is to zero out. So at the end of the tax season, you pay no taxes. That's the main goal of a private business owner, to zero out, where you spend a bunch of money elsewhere, so you don't have to pay the government the money. And what they did was they put on a big charity concert. So all the money they make from that charity concert goes towards donations or something like that, so that they can write that off on their taxes and they can zero out. That's the main goal. So that's why all these like Walmart and everything they do all these charities, not because they're benevolent. It's because it helps them out on their taxes. If they donate enough money to a charity or something, they can write that off. And the main goal is to zero out. That's why I think some people like at the end of the year, they go on big extravagant vacations to like the Bahamas or something, so they can write that off as business expenses, and they can write that off on their taxes, so they can pay less of it. Or if maybe you're going to pay taxes, and you figure, okay, I'm going to pay this much in taxes if I don't do something else. I need more write-off. So you go buy something ludicrously expensive or something like that for your business, so you can write it off, so your money can go back in the market instead of going to the government.
Anyway, we could talk about all kinds of financial laws. I know a bit, but that's not what the topic on the video is about. So let's just keep going. And we got a super chat from Roxas Uzi. And guess what? It's a Kingdom Hearts quote. Yay! I'm not going to betray Sora either, because he's become one of my best buddies after all we've been through together. And imagine that in the voice of Goofy. I just can't do it, but you can do it.
Yeah. One thing I really like is that all these people hating on Trump for paying like $750 in taxes are people who have probably never paid taxes before.
I guess. I don't know. Doing your taxes, especially in North America, is really complicated and takes time. So you're going to hire an accountant.
It does.
And if you have a lot of funds or a lot of money, or you're buying and selling your own business, it takes a lot of effort. Like I'm going to be doing my own TurboTax software come February next year, just because I have so many things going on. So you need to either pay someone to do it, or you do it yourself. And I've been doing it manually this entire time.
I got TurboTax.
Maybe they should just, lower government spending, and that way they wouldn't need to have so much money from taxes.
Well, it's not so much the taxes themselves. Like, obviously, the lower the better. The issue
is Shining. Welcome to the right wing.
Yeah. The issue is how complex the code is, and why it takes so many pieces of paper just to say, here, this is what I made this year. This is what you get. Compare this to Hong Kong. They're Hong Kong. I don't know if people in Hong Kong right now, they want to fill out their taxes. It's one piece of paper, pretty much. What'd you make? This is what you owe. That's it. It's so simple. And Hong Kong is one of the freest, economically free countries in the world. So it's a city-state. So it's a small little place, but just amazing wealth. And of course, you work your ass off. I think real estate is twice as much as it is here, but you will work your ass off if you live in Hong Kong. I have family members of my extended family who live there. They are rich, and they didn't do much. They just own real estate from the 60s, and they're really good. They're doing well there, even though with all of COVID and all the crazy Chinese issues of laws and immigrants and what have you. So financially great. Everything else, who knows? I haven't been there myself. But one piece of paper to do your taxes, that would take me 2 minutes. I'm like, I made this much. I owe you this much. Here's a check. Done. Anyway, let's get back on Christmas stories.
Exist partly due to the socially conservative, violent culture of the country. Everyone wants to be a murder hero.
No. What are you talking about? They're American. They're proud to be American, and they're free to own a tank and a Humvee and whatever this guy's holding.
Well, I mean, a lot of countries are free to own a tank. It's just that not many people do.
In Canada, you're allowed to own artillery. That's true.
Over here in the UK, there are people who own tanks and drive them on the road to work. There was a video I remember seeing online about a guy who was driving his tank as an Uber.
Really?
He picked up so a married couple and took them to their wedding.
Were they inside the tank, or were they
on it? They were sitting on top of the tank.
On top of the tank. Okay, that makes more sense.
Obviously, there's the regulations you have to do with tanks, though. You have the cannon itself has to be disarmed. They have to lock it in place so it can't be mistaken. You have to get special treads, which are specially fitted for a road, so they don't tear it up.
So there's nothing wrong.
Cool.
There's nothing wrong with people being proud of their country, or Americans saying, "Hey, yes, I carry. I'm an open carry citizen. I have my certifications. I pass all my tests." People I've met that handle weapons, they're very, very conscientious of what they're doing. They're very sensitive, and that's the kind of people they are. They're very organized, and that's just part of growing up. I think you're going to organize your life in some way, but that's part of American culture. Not so much in Canadian. We do have some shooting ranges up here, and there are people who are allowed to own certain types of guns. Not all the types of guns.
I just imagine, I don't know, whenever someone uses a gun in Canada, it's always it follows with a sorry, like every gunshot.
There's lots of interesting people who own guns. I went to a gun range with a friend of mine, and there's like this old German lady. She had one of those, a Luger or whatever you call them. She could aim without looking down the sights. She would just squint, and almost like bang, like she was amazing. There was another guy with a single action army. Those are actually a lot more fun than the normal, like the Glocks or what have you, just because there's more involved to fire. People like that. I don't know why. I never fired a gun, But it was just funny to see all these people where they came from and the way they take care and think about their ammo and how they stand and how they talk to you and how they look at you and what do you know? Where does this come from? This is my grandfather's. There's all this history behind a gun. It's not just I have a gun. It's like, this is my dad's. He taught me. Because there's lots of hunting in Canada. So whether you're using a crossbow or a long rifle or any sort of lethal weapon, it's not just I have a gun, because you're not allowed handguns in Canada. So it's a lot of history and heritage, especially in Canada. In America, I can only imagine the gun culture is gigantic. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
There are people here with like arsenals, entire warehouses of guns and everything, and they know everything about it, and they have all these histories behind it. It's great. It's fantastic. It's awesome.
I was in Colorado 2 years back, about Christmas, and the place I was staying, this guy had a whole room full of guns. Like, it was his office. He had an office, and it was just full of guns, just gun cabinet after gun cabinet of just so much fucking shit. You just have pistols laying on the desk. It was insane to me, especially since I had barely seen a gun in my life.
The man with the thick beard
guns,
drives around in a massive truck with tinted windows.
There we go.
Prepared to defend himself with lethal force.
That's awesome.
Hoping to defend himself.
Big guns, big.
Those are all Ford 150s, right?
You like big trucks. You're evil person. Big truck bad.
How can you be a man and dislike guns and big giant trucks with loud engines? How is that possible?
Is it my Ford? Is it my brother's Ford? Is my other brother's Ford?
This is my brother / father's Ford. The same guy. One guy.
One of them has a gun rack.
There was a company. It's really fucking big in America, and it was all that these people would ever fucking talk about, and they'd never shut up about it. It's not a car company we have here in the UK.
Was it
now?
Coca-Cola?
Was it Ford?
No. Actually, they really didn't like Ford in that area. It was another one.
It was a car company, though.
American pickups.
Chick-fil-A?
Oh.
I'm trying to think. Like, hated American brands for some reason. I can't think of... ExxonMobil? American brands that are bad. Like, people dislike them for some reason.
List of American truck manufacturers. Oh, fuck, there's so many.
The Dodge?
No, I don't think it was. I honestly can't remember the name.
But what is it? Is it a company like for cars or what? What do they do?
It's a company, and it was just every single car or every single pickup in the area was just the same make of pickup truck.
It's usually the most popular is the F-150. That's why I mentioned it, the Ford. I don't know what the competitor to that is. I'm not a truck guy, but you see these. I think minivans I used to know just because with my family they were thinking of buying a car. We looked at minivans and this and that. But
in the realm of rednecks, there are 3 things you don't talk about: politics, religion, and trucks. Okay, maybe 4 things. Guns. They'll love to talk to you about guns. But truck makes, that's a whole other argument you really don't want to get into.
Yeah.
Chevy, that's it. They really loved Chevy in that area.
Oh yeah, Chevrolets are popular in Canada too.
But I have never seen a Chevy in the UK. Never.
Cars are a little different in Europe. That's true. So
I know.
Yeah.
Well, roads are smaller and older, especially in the countrysides, like country roads. They get fucking small.
Owning a truck is a great idea. You can suddenly move. You can help someone move into their new place or move stuff around. You can go hunting. You can go to the cottage.
Not in the UK. You wouldn't be able to fit it onto the road.
I'm just saying a truck is much more useful.
Hmm.
Anyway, Lieutenant Colonel Tanya van de Gerschiff, thank you. PSA, guns are great. You should own one or 20. Well, that would take a while, especially if you're in Japan. To get a gun in Japan takes about a year. So that's one gun. And then you have to get yearly checkups to get your license. So depends on the country, of course. Fran Mataraki, I love my loud as F 1999 Dodge Dakota. Yeah, there's those big cars or big trucks. Oh, they're not diesel.
Also, I know country music as well. Something you don't want to talk to rednecks about.
You can talk to them about country music as long as you like it.
I swear, I've never had to pretend to be more interested when going to a country music concert. I'm sorry, this isn't my thing.
It's kind of like different flavors of jazz. At the root of it, it's nice. There's like a little bit too much jazz. It's too like R&B or like certain flavors you don't like. The blues is one thing you might not like because it's kind of sad. The same with some kinds of country music. It's kind of depressing. So it depends. Every singer is different. Every song is different. That's cool. Here's Jake the Surgeon. How dare you? Your Superman video make me feel emotions, Satan. I'm filing for harassment charges. Okay.
Oh, okay. Glad to hear it made you feel emotions.
Yeah, that was your longest video you ever done, I think.
By far. Yeah. By far. I went real long man with that one.
Yeah.
Not quite there. Not quite long man status, but almost there.
I think over an hour is pretty long. Okay.
Long man singing Country Roads.
Oh, yeah.
That's the best part
Copperhead Road.
of Fallout 76.
Good directions.
You know, I think if there's one thing I can't stand, it's like more than country music, it's rap. I can't stand rap. I'm sorry. No,
I actually like rap.
Fuck off.
I just don't like the modern rap. I like the 90s rap where it was clean and focused on the beat. Now it's all like swearing and bitches and words and crazy stuff.
Well, whenever I've heard it, it's always like, okay, well, I've taken some music and then I don't even sing. I just talk all the time. It's like, here I am dropping some beats. I'm just talking to the beat. So that's not a singing. Fuck off. Leave me alone.
It is a form of poetry. I have to give it that much. It does involve a drum kit or a drum machine. So it's very simplistic, but it doesn't mean it's bad. It's just different. So they focus on the beat.
Nah, I'm calling it objectively bad.
Okay. All right. Rox Azuzi again. Thank you, sir. I have a few handguns, but I'm more of a sword guy myself. I'm taking some smithing lessons. Wow. And I love it. Nothing beats the smell of a blade you forge. That is interesting. You have to know your steel. You have to know your iron.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You ever seen that show Forged in Fire? And it's a lot of knowledge goes into that. A lot of talent.
And
never take a gun to a sword fight.
Yeah. Even if you're not into swords or stuff like that, if you're going to buy yourself like a cast iron skillet, just the same amount of knowledge you need about how to take care of iron, what you do and don't do. Very important in cleanliness when you're out in the field, you're cottaging or you're whatever you're doing in the wilderness. Got to take care of your iron skillets. Very important to how to cook food and how to keep clean. So good stuff. Good lesson. That's interesting. And Jake the Surgeon, rap makes for horrible fight music. Unless you're watching, like, I don't know, Samurai Champloo, I guess, something like that.
I love how I'm making so many enemies. I'm shitting on so many things. I like shit on country music, shit on rap, shit on anime. Fuck you.
Shiny has
That's
very
the spirit.
I will destroy everything you love because it's shit.
Good. Take the happiness. Drink the tears. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
The happiness.
Let the hatred flow through you.
I just imagine like LiteratureDevil's wife or something, Mrs. Devil, like just gets off to like LitDev debunking happiness. It's like, oh yes, debunk the happiness. Do it.
Was it a Morticia Adams? What is that? Something like that.
Do it.
So, dear, how many people did you kill today? I mean, metaphorically.
Have you seen the Death Note, Netflix Death Note movie? It's like that, where Mia's like, when she gets off from killing people. It's kind of weird and gross, but that's what she does. That's what she does.
That's a sad topic of conversation, and I'm glad I never saw that film or whatever you call it on Netflix.
Yeah. Oh, I liked it. So bad. It was so awful.
It was horrific. I just saw the trailer. I was like, oh my goodness, no. Okay.
Lethal Force. The man who walks into a restaurant or pharmacy with their guns exposed, hoping people will comment on them, hoping to...
Oh no, they have their gun exposed.
Oh no, they want to start a conversation.
Okay,
oh no.
If you're in America...
Carry. Now it is pretty... I mean, why would you carry around a gun like that? I mean, you're free to. I mean, I personally wouldn't, and I don't think it's a good idea. But yeah, you're free to in an open carry state.
Yeah, exactly. Some states are like this. So when you see this, guess what? You're going to feel extremely safe because these people are carrying around, big guns. It's like no one's going to rob this place.
No, but he's saying that the reason why they do it is to start conversation.
Sure.
That's what he's saying right now.
Sure.
So ignoring the fact that they're holding guns, there's nothing wrong with wanting to start a conversation.
These guns are not loaded, okay? They're not. You cannot walk around with a loaded gun like this. It's just the law. So
you can put I think you can do a pistol. I wouldn't do a pistol. I mean, at most, but walking around with fully, a rifle, you can do it. You can do it, but it's not generally a good idea because people see that gun and they start feeling unsafe, no matter what their political leanings are.
Yeah, and they will always have their license on them. If a cop comes by and says, "Please see your license," they have no problem. Here you are, officer. He's like, "No problem. Thank you, sir. Have a great day." That's it.
Absolutely.
This is America. You can do these things in certain states. So, and this is the thing that we can't do in Canada. People would freak out if they saw this in Canada. So,
are you fucking kidding me? This video is got 9K upvotes and only 600 downvotes. People love this video. Why do people love this video?
I think they're LiteratureDevil types. They eat this stuff up. They eat it up. They just eat it up. They hate freedom. They just hate freedom with a passion.
A comment saying, "I love when people try to argue that the McAllisters are not rich. Maybe you need some little self-reflection."
I don't think they're rich. I think they're middle class. I don't think they're rich.
I mean, they're all stuffed into a really it's a big house, but there is a lot of them to be stuffed into it.
So here is Jake the Search again. There's a church in Texas that was going to be shot up, but because it's Texas, it turned out too well. That was somewhat recent. That was Springfield or Sutherland Field or something like that. Yeah, that one of the.
You really don't want to go do. You really don't want to pull those shenanigans in Texas.
No. No, sir. Southern states, just watch yourself. they are armed.
A conflict. The truth is, nobody buys anything without the intention of using it, and that.
Well, yeah. I mean, you buy a gun for self-defense.
No. Not good for guns. No, let's stop. Okay, let's say I buy a home defense system. Like alarms and shit. I intend to use it to defend my house. But a home defense system, and if you are buying a gun for defense, do you know what you're going to use it for?
I intend to use it for defense. So yeah, I buy a gun for defense purposes. I intend to use it for defense purposes.
And you know what? It might be wise to get good at how to use that thing for defense. And there's
no one buys a gun unless they intend to use it. It's for the purpose they bought. Yeah, they bought it for defense.
Happens if a guy with a gun goes around and starts shooting people, they get arrested. They get shot themselves. Because that the laws say you're not supposed to be doing that. It's only under extreme circumstances are you allowed to use lethal force with a gun. Okay? It's a big responsibility to have a gun, to use a gun. You have to know exactly what you're doing, or else you could end up in prison for a very, very long time.
So anyway, I started blasting.
Like in a TV show, okay? Something on TV where you can just start blasting and you get away with it. Okay, it's not that easy. There are laws that prevent you from just doing whatever you want with guns. You can open carry, sure, but you can't just go around shooting it. I think, and you can't just go around shooting anyone who just displeases you or something. It doesn't allow you to do that. That's why it's a bad idea. I think it's a bad idea. I mean, they're free to do it, obviously. I think that's why it's a bad idea to go around carrying shotguns and rifles just every day. That's just not the best idea. I mean, pistols, yeah, that's fine. Knives, sure, but that whole rifle and shotgun, I wouldn't recommend it.
Here is Lieutenant Colonel Tanya von de Gershoff again. Thank you. PSA number 2. You don't have to shoot guns at humans. That's true. You don't have to. There are plenty of really fun competitions. ELR competitions are exceptionally fun for me. I'm not exactly sure. What is an ELR competition? Does anyone know?
Elderly leftists reload.
Extremely left Republican.
Yeah, I think there was an interesting, it was a short documentary on YouTube. I watched it years ago, and it was this lady who was like very against guns, and she was almost had a living experience with some rednecks living in the country who couldn't afford to put food on the table, so they went out and hunted it. And at the end of the documentary, she was like, "Oh, I feel so sorry for these people, but I still feel like their guns should be taken away." It's like, you fucking bitch.
Take away their only means to get food. Sure.
If they weren't using guns, they'd use bows and arrows or crossbows or something, or spear or whatever to get the food. I mean, that doesn't make a difference.
It's like postmodernist types. I don't know why. A lot of them just hate freedom. What is with it? How come they hate freedom so much? We're going to take away all your rights and freedoms.
Oh, I just imagine America's like, you have the freedom to die, and it's like everyone just starts shooting each other. It's just all chaos. They find nukes at each other. It's just full of diabetes and debt and horrible, terrible, and burning fires.
Here's a super chat to bring us back on topic. Goodman 4, McAllisters are most like upper middle class. I guess, I don't know. I think
upper middle class.
Yeah, they're middle. I think
rich.
It seems like a big house for a lot of people, and I guess if you have so many people, they're probably contributing. Like probably. I think that if they were more upper middle class, they would probably be all in their own homes. They wouldn't need to shove their entire family into one.
There's always usually, I mean, not every time, obviously, but usually there's a big. In some families, it is even in middle class families, upper middle class families. Once you grow old enough, you'll get a job, or you help around the house in some way. Like if they have their own business, you help out with that business. You start learning the trade, something like that. There's something to help out. In a lot of households, I'm not saying like every household, because obviously, I mean, this is how neckbeards are born and stuff like that. They're not given any discipline or something. But some households in America, they get the kids, they make them go get a job, or they throw them into the responsibility of working at the family business, something like that, so that they can learn discipline. They can learn these things, and also contribute.
I love how Glib just said, "I'm always going to be wrong about guns," when I just spent most of the stream defending guns. Which means if I'm wrong about defending them, then that must mean that all guns are terrible and they should all be removed. Oh, thanks, Glib. You really, I didn't realize that my pro-gun attitude was absolutely terrible and toxic.
We have an actual, we have a gun channel in Smudboy. If you want to join the Discord, we have just a talk just about guns. We have a few Americans who love talking about it, and a few Europeans. They also like talking about these topics. So,
Glib says, if he wants to defend himself with an RPG, he will. That's freedom.
It's my fucking thing. Hey, Glib, don't you fucking steal my rocket launcher. It's my rocket launcher.
Chinese anti-American.
I
remember that
rocket launcher.
What was that?
I put that rocket launcher down in the cupboard. I meant to come back to it. You fucking stole it, you dick.
What was that PSA by Biden a few years back when he was in office? Buy a shotgun. Don't buy an AR-15. Shotguns are easy to use, yada, yada. There's a compilation of people using shotguns. They all like flying out of their hands. They're so powerful. But there's a girl with an AR-15. It's like click, 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 click. It's like so simple. Oh, boy.
Anyway. That, with this really like far left, like a reporter said he got like what was it? PTSD from firing an AR-15. And he's crying and screaming. He's like, "Oh no!" It's fabulous. It's absolutely beautiful watch him just break down. And these are the guys I think they're going to. These are the same guys that won the Civil War. They think they're going to win.
Well, they're not going to be fighting what they hate. They're going to be saving what they love, obviously.
Yeah, not with
guns. They think they're going to win the war when they break down and start crying and get PTSD from firing an AR-15, where little girls can fire the AR-15 no problem and then go back to playing with the dolls.
Well, obviously, they're horrible Nazis. It's just Hitler Youth all over again.
Here is Nathan Higgins. Thank you, sir. There's plenty of subtext to conclude Kevin's mother was a very high-paying... Yeah, I think it was a well-to-do family, and they both had jobs, and they had a big family. It makes sense. You have high-paying jobs, you have a big house, you're going to have a lot of kids. So you're going to...
They're not poor by any means.
No,
they're not rich.
Well, I thought it was multiple families living in the, like...
Maybe just for Christmas because they were getting together. I don't think it was. Yeah.
Just for Christmas.
It's been so long since I watched it, so
I know.
It's hard to remember. I just remember a lot of people being stuffed into one house.
Here is Lord Yin. Thank you. Only fools treat firearms as a problem solver. Firearms don't solve problems but escalate them. You need prudence to use them. Yeah, when you get a lethal weapon or any kind of weapon, like a sword or a knife, that's something special, okay? You put it on display because it's like, look at this thing I have. This is a tool, it is a work of art, and it is also a weapon for defense. It can do many things, and that's why you present these things. I think it's the fascination with swords. There's always this sort of romanticized historical outlook on where they came from and how they came about and why certain swords changed over the years. So the same with guns. It doesn't really matter. I'm not a gun guy. I'm not a sword guy. I appreciate the art form. I love watching Men-at-Arms when they make fantasy swords come to life, which is crazy. Like they made the Buster sword, or they tried to make Sephiroth's sword. They couldn't do the actual, was it the type of steel it would need? Because it's too heavy. Like no human could possibly wield it. It's like basically a spear, a hunk of iron. So they have to make it lighter.
Imagine if Shad's channel, like Shadiversity, was all just about guns. All of a sudden, people, he wouldn't be as not political anymore. Because I know Shad's politics.
No, Shad
he goes out of his way all the time to like not be as least political as possible.
He could totally do a stream or do a video on guns because he'd be right there at home if he has the same level of research and respect he has for armor and swords and bows. He could apply exactly that to and gun culture is huge, so he could totally do that if he wanted. But the thing is, Australia. Yeah, he's in Australia, right? I don't think they have much of a gun culture down there.
No, they ban guns over there, but in America, it's huge.
Yeah, that would be neat. I like to see what he has to say. In
obviously, America just has too much toxic masculinity.
That's why we're awesome.
Okay. Here's Jake the Surgeon. I'm going to get a CCW soon. Hippity hoppity, get off my property, leftist. I'm sorry. Closed. What is that? A CCW? Does anyone know? Closed circuit. Something? I don't know. What is CCW? Someone in the chat, please tell us what a CCW is, because I just don't know these acronyms.
Clone Wars Wolves.
Clone Wars. What are you talking about?
There you go. Well, CWW. Clone Wars
Concealed
Wolves.
Carry. Thank you. Concealed Carry License. That's I was thinking of, but it was like that's not an L. So, all right, cool. Thank you. Let's keep going.
That includes weapons. Another reason these laws exist is because the U.S. places a great deal of value on personal property, even at the expense of human life.
It's just the fucking culture.
Is more valuable than a human life?
Yes, my property is more valuable than the intruder trying to steal my stuff.
And that brings us back to Home Alone. Aha.
How does this bring us back to Home Alone? Okay.
You just kill me, buddy.
Killing people defend your property.
There's no death in Home Alone. No one dies. Evil.
How come it can't be the perpetrators who are evil? How come it's always the guy defending himself who's in the wrong?
I knew we'd get back there. So, Home Alone, which is a great movie, don't at me, really plays up that revenge fantasy.
No, it doesn't.
He's showing the gun clip, despite the fact that it was just a TV that he used to scare the people.
The desire to be mildly wronged so that one can exact a disproportional response for violent satisfaction. I don't think so. Revenge is never disproportional. In fact, it's probably not enough. When you wrong someone and you feel you want to get back at them, there's no...
It's not even revenge, because revenge is implying that... It's like saying revenge would be if someone stole your stuff, then after they steal your stuff, you go out and find them and get revenge on them. There's a difference between getting revenge and actively stopping something which is happening.
Yeah, he's just putting traps and making the guys look like buffoons. That's the film. It's pretty simple. There's no other motive aside from he's a kid and he wants to have a good time tricking all these bad guys.
Revenge fantasy is the desire to be mildly wronged so that one can exact a disproportional response for violent satisfaction. Kevin McAllister is accidentally left home when his family goes on vacation to Paris over Christmas. Harry and Marv, collectively the Wet Bandits, are cat burglars who rob from the rich. They're the bad guys, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin becomes aware of the Wet
Bandits.
I guess.
God.
Serious. How deluded do you have to be? How how pampered and spoiled does Renegade Cut have to be to say, I guess the burglars robbing from the rich, they're not even rich, the middle class, the working middle class, are not the bad guys. How many times a day did his mom and dad tell Renegade Cut he was special? How spoiled do you have to be to have this worldview? That's ridiculous. You know why they're stealing from the rich? Because the rich people have things that can be stolen from.
They're not exactly Robin Hood. They're not stealing from the rich and giving it to the poor. They're just stealing.
They're being jerks. That's why they're called the wet bandits. You remember the wet bandits thing where they turn on the water so that it runs up their water bill while they're out also? Those guys are jerks. They're not heroes. They're not stealing from the quote unquote totally rich you guys and giving it to the poor. They're stealing for themselves and they're stealing from middle class because they don't have as much security as rich people do, but they have more valuable things than poor people do. This is what burglars do. How spoiled do you have to be, and pampered do you have to be, and totally special snowflake do you have to be to think these guys are heroes or not the bad guys?
Here's Jake again. Thank you, sir. My cat's life has more value to me than Renegade Cuts. Well, let's just say his opinions and how he orchestrates them are a little lopsided.
My property has more value than the guy trying to break into my house, hurt my family, and steal from me.
Plan to rob his house at 9 o'clock and creates a series of traps to defend his rich family's property. Before tackling the legality,
I think he still keeps throwing in rich family this, and rich people that.
Acknowledge that the McAllisters are bougie as hell. The movie plays.
They're bougie as hell. Who would say that?
I don't even know what that means.
Bourgeois.
Sense that Renegade is from a middle class family. And he thought his family was rich because they had a lot of money.
Bourgeois means
rich
something else
more than that
to the socialists or to the Marxists. So. But yeah, it is a contradiction in terms, literally. Yeah.
A big hint, again, kind of filling this out, that Renegade Cut is from a middle class.
Maybe,
maybe even upper middle.
They're so bougie. It's like, who the hell says that?
I don't know what that means.
Have you ever had
it's kind of like when Quentin reviews says, it's kind of fashy, it's kind of fashy. Yeah, that sort of thing. Instead of it's bourgeoisie, they're kind of bougie.
Yeah. Nathan Higgins.
Kind of bougie, they're kind of fashy, those kind of guys. They're kind of fashy.
Okay.
Nathan Higgins. Renegade insinuates the wet bandits are underdogs despite having the resources to imitate the cops and have detailed knowledge of their targets? What? Oh, boy. Jake the Surgeon. I know who's going into my gulags first, comrade. Oh. Jake, you're giving them exactly what they want. Gulags.
I think we should rename Renegade Cut to Renegade Comrade.
Yeah, well, I don't think he's very...
Renegade Communist, how about that? Renegade
Comrade.
Just call him Communist.
Comrade, you'd be like or something, right?
Well, no, just because Russian's communist. Well, Renegade Communist works. Renegade Commie.
Yeah, what if someone steals Renegade Cut's computer? Would he be angry? I don't know.
I don't know. Like, that makes it very tempted now. Like, just to steal his computer, it's like, what the fuck are you doing? It's like, you can't hurt me because apparently you think that's wrong.
Yeah, it's the will of the people.
If you feel threatened, you can just leave. The door's right there.
More people want your computer than you want your computer. Therefore, the people should get it, or something like that. Some strange communist ideal. Here's
if Renegade Cut thinks he's rich, then
I don't know. Maybe he just took a media course and learned how to edit videos, or maybe he's self-taught. Who knows?
At most, they're middle class.
I have the urge to break into Renegade Cut's house now. Not gonna lie. I'd be surprised if he has any security systems.
This is their home somewhere around Chicago, but clearly they live in the suburbs in a giant house with 3 floors and a basement. In fact, even in this wealthy neighborhood, the wet bandits remark how the McAllister home is the real prize, with Harry getting an almost sexual thrill out of plotting to rob them.
Are you retarded?
Gross. Why would you do that? Why would you even mention that?
Joe Pesci, I don't even... Are you kidding me? If he read that in a script, he'd be like, I'm not doing this. There's no way I'm... This is a really rare role for Pesci. Actually, this is one of the only ones I recall where he's not playing a mobster or that sort of character. I mean, he's still a criminal, but it's a comical film. It's not like a serious film. So
yeah, and don't diminish the guy that George Cullen prayed to. Okay, he's awesome.
That house is the only reason we started working this block in the first place. Ever since I laid eyes on that house, I wanted it.
The McAllister family.
That's oh my fucking fuck off.
A burglar wanted to rob a house. Wow.
First they ignore him, and then once Kevin is alone, he stiffs him on the tip, and then absolutely terrorizes him by pretending someone is firing lethal rounds.
Isn't he a dick?
He's
a funny kid. It's funny. It's hilarious.
Wasn't the guy a dick to him or something?
In which he needs to serve the more fortunate. And Kevin's reaction to this is to treat him like garbage. You did nothing to deserve this, pizza delivery driver. You are
I don't care. Be worse to that guy.
Anyway,
I don't care.
Kevin's never seen Uncle is so rich that he can fly them all to Paris. 14 of them. At Christmas. That must cost a small fortune.
So his uncle is rich,
in case you
not
thought
them.
Only Kevin's never
if they were rich, they'd be paying for it.
Kevin's father flies the whole clan to Florida. I'm sorry, but who takes a tropical vacation for Christmas? Bougie, suburban white people.
Lots of people do.
Lots of people. They
white
go
people
away for the holidays.
White people take these trips apart. What the fuck?
Except saying bougie sounds weird. It's a
I know
dumb word.
plenty of people who are African or Jamaican or what have you.
Let's switch this around. Let's just switch this around a little bit. If we suddenly started saying these about like, oh, do you know who does this? Lower class black people. That would sound incredibly racist.
But it's true. It's true. I know lots. Again, we live in Canada. I live in Canada. Lots of multicultural communities and families I know, whether they're Trinidad and Tobago or Jamaican, they go because it's too damn cold to places that they like where they came from because it's warmer there. Okay, that's normal to visit their family. It's totally normal. So,
I mean, I don't really see the point of like especially if Renegade Cut. If Renegade Cut, it's more the hypocrisy that is what I'm making a point at. Because if Renegade Cut heard someone say about lower class black people do this, that, or the other, like you're making huge sweeping statements, he would suddenly leap on it like you're racist or something.
Insinuating here that people of color cannot afford these things, and only white people can. Insinuating that all people of color are poor, which is not true.
I think lower class kids can do just as well as white kids.
Very brave thought, Shiny. I believe, but apparently you can't believe that if you're a communist or something.
Okay, Dr. Crow, I told you this video is crazy, and it gets crazier. You know what? I totally believe you. It's been pretty bad so far. We've been stopping every 30 seconds at least, and it's only 7 minutes and a half in. So
there are so many bizarre quotes from Biden. He's a perfect meme generator. I love him.
Here's the thing.
I fucking hate Biden. He's making us look like idiots.
This is every day. He doesn't embarrass me. I don't care. But he is a funny fellow, though. He's a funny fellow.
I honestly do. I love listening to him more than I love listening to Trump. I'll be honest. I used to love taking the piss out of Trump, but now I like taking the piss out of Biden more.
There's so many gaffes. There's so many stupid things. You just cannot believe the stuff he comes up with. And you're like, this is what people want? You want a crazy... a guy who can't make sentences?
10 trillion Americans to COVID, and I got hairy legs. And that's just Biden right there.
And kids love my hairy legs.
Oh,
just
God.
come over and pet them.
Oh, God. Here's Jake the Surgeon. Welcome to the food service industry. You are dirt. You are nothing. You are paid to serve food and are always to blame. It is not a forgiving job. If you are especially nowadays with restaurants being as hard hit as they are, if you want to go to a restaurant and you're not getting business, you got to be even extra special to your clientele. You got to treat them like gold because you probably haven't seen them in like half a year, since March at least. So yeah, the food industry has been hit. I know a few chefs that have been hit. They've been working from home. They've been doing deliveries, even teaching cooking from home, which is interesting. So be nice to your restaurants. If you can, try and order out once in a while. Treat them well. Keep them alive. It's hard, I know, these days, but as a big foodie myself, I love to go out and order in just because it's easier on them. So make the effort, guys. Go outside for a bit. Anyway, Fred Mataraki.
Playing the road.
Yeah. Fred Mataraki. The Virgin Kevin McAllister versus the Chad Dennis the Menace. Ooh. I'm trying to think about that. How is... I know Kevin's pretty lethal. A lot of his traps would have killed a man, so... the way that they do it in the movie, though, is to be funny. So it's very cartoony. And Dennis the Menace, the cartoon, I'm thinking, would be less lethal than McAllister. Rock Suzuki, here we go again. This video is a prime example of someone thinking they're saying something smart, however in reality they sound like they're on crack. They sound racist. That's what it comes down to. He is saying racist stuff about white people in, was it Vermont? Where are these people from? I don't even know what part of the town or part of the country that this movie is taking place in. So he's sounding very racist, which is silly. This could have been a film all about a Jamaican family of the same size, same demographic, and they're going to Paris as well. It would make no difference.
That's who. I won't get into the ethics of whether it's okay to steal from the rich.
Why not? It's obvious.
You literally just inferred that.
Yeah, you said it's okay to steal from the rich because you said that these guys, these evil bandits who are jerks, not Robin Hood types, but jerks. You said that, are they the bad guys? I don't know. And the reason why you think they're not the bad guys is because you agree that it's good to steal from the rich. So you just did. You just did. It can't be the fact that stealing is wrong. It has to be contextual. It's the only time you love context right is when, are they rich? Are they white? Well, then of course it's okay to commit a crime. That's what you just said by saying that they might not be the bad guys. Because if stealing is wrong, in all contexts, universally and equally, if you believed in equality, stealing would be wrong and they would be the bad guys. But you're like more along the lines of, I don't know if they're the bad guys or not. Awesome. Well, thank you for that, Renegade Cut. Thank you for that.
Although, obviously, I think it's fine. Obviously, that's what I'm advocating. So, Kessel Doctrine states that in order to protect yourself from bodily harm or death, you have the right to inflict bodily harm or death on anyone who trespasses on your property. It almost makes sense, except for all the ways that it can be exploited. Let's use Home Alone as an example. Kevin devises a series of traps to protect himself from the wet bandits. But here's the thing. Kevin doesn't need to do any of this to protect himself.
Yes, he does.
Wait, he's a kid. What do you want him to do?
Yes, he wanted to kill him at the end of it. They're invading his house. He can do whatever he wants to defend himself because they are invading his home.
And they are stupid enough.
He's saying that it's not necessary to defend himself.
It is, though. Yes, it is.
Exactly.
He needs to protect his stuff. He needs to protect his house, his property.
What's a 9-year-old going to do against two grown adults?
I don't care what it is about Renegade Cut types
property
who want to side with people who want to hurt kids. I don't know. This is the funniest thing about this is he's completely innocent. Kevin is completely innocent. He's taking advantage of the situation. He's having fun. He's a kid. We get it. And it's up these two adults, these bumbling fools who fall over their ass of their own accord. He hasn't done anything directly to them. Maybe there's some specific scenarios where he drops something on them. I can't recall. But other than that, you can make a death trap out of your house. It's totally legal. You can do that.
No, obviously, boy, the real good guys are the guys who want to murder children, apparently.
Well, if they literally just stopped invading his house, they would no longer be under threat because all the traps are activated by them going further and further and further in. If they stopped going further in, there'd be no traps.
So you're a villain if you defend your home, but you're a good guy if you murder children. That's what Renegade Cut is.
Of course.
Oh, dear. Jake the Surgeon. Movie Bob was right. Some people shouldn't reproduce. Did he actually say that? How ironic, Movie Bob. Oh, my God.
Movie Bob, yeah. I would totally believe Movie Bob said that, yeah.
I want to see that tweet. I'm going to say 100% agree. You are exactly correct, sir. You are a model of your philosophy.
This is not a situation in which Kevin is sleeping in his bed, hears a strange sound coming from the kitchen, grabs a weapon just to be safe, sees an intruder, and then it all goes sideways. No. Kevin knows the wet bandits are coming. He even knows when the wet bandits are coming. He overhears them plotting. Shortly before the big slapstick portion of the movie, Kevin goes to church. He's safe there. In fact, he's safe anywhere besides his home.
I mean,
he could have remained
just the history of churches.
Completely safe.
Not exactly the safest for kids. A bit like kids on their own. No. I'll shut up.
Here's Andrew Clark. We need to watch When Were You Radicalized? Renegade Cut lays out his whole backstory. It's truly fascinating and really enlightening. Really? He has his own... he didn't write a book? He actually made a video about himself? Wow, I'm going to write that down. Okay, 1 second.
I think I remember seeing a link to one of his videos called When Were You Radicalized?
Okay.
It might have been in the DMs.
It could have been in our list. Again, we have like so many of his in our private voting list. So it might have been on the list there. I don't know. Oh, boy, this guy is always entertaining, isn't he?
But yes, if he just stayed at the church, he would have been completely safe. Not actually mentioning that I think a lot of churches close after a certain time.
I don't know. This is kind of would defeat the purpose of the movie, but I guess he would technically be safe when he knows that danger is coming to him. So that is true, but all he had to do was say, "Hey, Father, my house is about to get robbed. What do I do?" Father calls the cops, da-da-da, done. Yeah, movie over. Wouldn't be very fun, though.
He could have contacted the pigs to catch the wet bandits in the act. He's a white...
Contacted the what?
Besides his home. He could have remained at the church, completely safe, and if he so desired, he could have contacted the pigs to catch the wet bandits in the...
Pigs?
Did he just call them pigs?
He called police pigs.
Are you kidding me? Oh my god.
Oh my god, Renegade Cut, fuck off.
Holy, this is, I mean, I don't know about you, but I kind of have to, like, I don't want to respect people I don't have earned it for me, but we're talking about the police, okay?
We're talking about people who put their lives in danger every day for your protection. We're not talking about fighting in some far-off country. We're talking about people who are active in your street, who actively protect you. They're the ones that are going to be coming to your door if, someone has died. If someone's trying to, I don't know, hurt you, they're the ones that are going to come and protect you. I wouldn't, anyone who's doing that as their line of work, or like, you have to give them some level of respect. At least the basic human decency of respect. You have to give humans just a basic level of decency, of respect.
I don't know. If you were calling fictional characters, I mean, I guess you can get angry at a film, that's fine. But can you imagine him saying that to a cop in real life? That would not go over too well.
Hey, pig.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, jeez. Nathan Higgins, thank you, sir. The reason Kevin does not tell any adults what is happening is because he thinks he made his family disappear by magic, therefore legally culpable. Well, he's already a kid, so he wouldn't be legally allowed under the law because he's allowed certain crazy thoughts as a kid. He's not mature enough to make these ideas as an adult. So that's fine. We can throw away a lot of argument about legality when it comes to kids. But there wouldn't be a movie. Like if he just did the things that would make more sense. So that's the fun of the show. What would a kid do?
I just want. I'm trying to think if there's any much more like disrespectful ways things you can call to the police, because like there is a lot of like also British slang for police,
coppers,
like the filth, the fuzz, the PC plod, this paddy wagon, the peelers, it's all kinds of names, and I think pigs is honestly more disrespectful than any of them that I can think of.
Yeah, that's just wrong.
Because okay, here's just a list of British slang for police: Bobby, Rozzers, the Bill, the Bizzies, the Blues and Twos, the Blue Band, the Blue Bottle, the Book, the Nick, BTP, Candy Cars, Chimps, Cop, Copper, Coppers, Dibble, Filth, Fuzz, Grass, Hobby Bobby, Jam Sandwich or Jam Butter,
what?
Old Bill, Paddy Wagon, Peeler, the Sweeney, the Met, and this is some of the slang for British kids. None of those are worse than pigs.
Here's Roxas Uzi again. I'm half black and half white. My parents went through so much racist stuff. So when this guy just says blatant racist stuff, it really grinds my gears. I think we're all sort of in shock. I mean, we knew that he was saying things in his own little world, and that's, fine. Lots of YouTubers are in their own little world, saying their own feelings. That's cool. It's when you say things that are insulting, as if they're nothing, which is the problem.
Feelings are dumb. So emotions are dumb. Okay, guys.
Hey, Joe Crazy. Just got on. What brain-melting nonsense did I miss? Oh, dear. Where do we begin? Guns are bad. You shouldn't defend yourself.
Stealing from the rich is fine.
Stealing from the rich seems to be okay. Middle class, rich people are bad. Or rich middle class, or bourgeois. I don't know. What the hell is rich and bourgeois? Those are opposites. It's like... I don't get it.
Essentially, Renegade Cut is saying that committing crimes is fine as long as you personally feel justified by it, which is pretty much any criminal.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous stuff that he came up with. Then the latest thing is he calls cops pigs because I don't know.
Why not?
Yeah, how about Renegade Cut have it? What if they defund the police? Let's see Renegade Cut handle his own problems. What if there's like a guy, the creeper guy in his attic or something? Can't call the police. Can't call the police. What if there's a guy in his basement? Can't call the police. What if there's a guy trying to break into his house or a guy trying to steal his stuff? Can't call the police because there's no police. You have to handle it yourself. The police deal with all kinds of crazy nonsense that the normal person, would never ever want to deal with in 1,000 years.
Here's Jake the Surgeon. Thank you, sir. Pigs are among the most intelligent, resourceful, and adaptable animals out there. I get the insult and agree with you, but I like to take insults and turn them on their heads. Okay. I think pigs are delicious.
I'm pretty sure even the dumbest is smarter than the smartest communist.
Well, they're very friendly animals, so yeah. Especially in Cuba. They're free and wild, and they taste delicious. So.
Yeah, and the other question is like pigs are very nice.
Free-range bacon.
Yes,
you can taste the freedom before it's ripped away from them.
Yes.
Act. White suburbanite. That's literally all they do. Now, if he's
about being what just happened?
No, go back.
He's safe, and if he so desired, he could have contacted the pigs to catch the wet bandits in the act. He's a white suburbanite. That's literally all they do.
Okay,
what all white suburbanites do is wait for people to rob their homes.
A 9-year-old kid is a white suburbanite who calls up the cops all the time.
What's going to happen if they call the cops? If he calls the cops, they might not believe him. Like, oh, this is a kid playing a prank, whatever it is.
What the fuck? I also want to point out that all the people he's brought up are probably they're all women and they're probably all Karens.
Well, I was about to say that. I decided not to.
Yeah, wait a second. But does he actually do that in the movie, though? Does Kevin call the cops?
Oh, apparently they cut the phone lines.
Oh, yeah, I think they cut the phone lines. That's one thing they did. Maybe, I think. I don't remember exactly. I think there's something they would do. But, I mean, if you did that, there'd be no movie. Why? It's a lot more fun to see the kid just put up traps and stuff because he's a resourceful kid and then defend his own house. I mean, it takes a very scary situation and makes it comedic. That's why it's so funny. That's why it's so memorable.
I would rather the kid be characterized by what's in his imagination as a kid as opposed to the practical thing. Oh, he's a really resourceful guy. He's going to call the cops. It's like, no. He's going to do crazy fun stuff. That's why you watch the film. So, yeah, I don't know. This argument is silly. Here's Mark the Side.
We're only 8 minutes, 20-minute video. We're only 8 minutes in. It's just ridiculous.
I'm going to retract my statement. I don't think he sounds racist. I think he is almost going racist. All white suburbanites do. I call the police.
Bigoted. Yeah, a lot of these people are. A lot of these communist bread tube people. They are. They're like, oh, all these people. They have a certain skin color. They all do this. That's bigotry. That's prejudice.
As you can see in these 4 random videos, they're all the same. It's like what? Okay.
They have a certain skin color. According to these people, they're all the same. They're all the same. They all work on a hive mind.
Renegade Cut doesn't even need to go to race. But he does it anyway. There is no need to bring race into this at all, but yet he drags it in there.
He went to Renegade Cut to talk about Home Alone and then bring it back down to race.
Oh, here's Mark the Cyborg. Thank you, sir. Hey, Satan. I was listening to your Superman video at the gym today. It was quite inspiring. Wow, that's a long video. You're at the gym for a while,
awesome.
Sir. Yeah.
I'm glad you liked it.
Also, sorry for flaking on Among Us the other day, Smudboy. Don't worry about that. We might have another one tonight, but we had pretty full team, and you were busy with your sister, I believe, so no problem. We'll try to get you organized or get everyone organized for another game soon. Oh, another super chat. Lord Yin, hey, how's it going? If I recall correctly, he did call the police, and the operator didn't believe him, which is why he decides to set up the traps to begin with. Well, there you go.
Uh-huh. I remember, and I got it right.
What's he gonna do? He's just gonna sleep in a fucking church?
Well, his house is
what
burgled.
He seriously Renegade Cut's advocating for? Doesn't the church close at a certain time? The adults don't believe him. Where is he gonna go? He's just gonna just wander off somewhere else in the middle of the night.
Don't break into people's houses. Don't steal from people, and don't hurt children. How about that?
That's a better message. I think that's close to the message of the actual film.
What the film says. How about crime doesn't pay? Don't steal from people, and don't hurt kids. That sounds good to me. Don't steal from people. Don't hurt kids.
Crime is bad.
Yeah, exactly. How about just don't hurt kids? Okay, don't hurt kids. Don't steal from people, and don't break into people's houses. That's the message of Home Alone.
Can you imagine if you were a parent and you learned that your kid defended your house while you were gone? You'd be like, holy crap, this kid's amazing.
I'll be like, son, you get ice cream for a month. That's amazing.
Son, you just saved the thing that's been saved down from generation to generation. It's priceless.
I'm taking you shooting. We're gonna buy your own gun, and I'm gonna take you to the range. It's gonna be fantastic. There's the next time you get left behind.
Okay, what about family heirlooms? What about things that are very precious? For instance, I'll going through my possessions right now. My most valuable possession is my computer. It's literally my lifeline and my future. It's everything is right there. It is everything to right now. That's most important. If someone stole that, I would be fucked.
Nope, you got according to Renegade Cut, you got to let him steal your computer, or else you're a bad guy.
Despite the fact that my computer is very important to my future and visual effects.
I'm pretty sure that's how it works in California. No matter what, if you have to let them steal from you or whatever. I'm pretty sure in California, if you get shot by an intruder, you get in trouble.
Now, if he's worried about being fingered for the toothbrush crime,
he
doesn't have to meet with the authorities, only call them. That's what Duty to Retreat is all about. The Wet Bandits pose no physical threat to Kevin because he's in the church.
Again, what the fuck? Just stay in the church. That's all you should do.
I don't get this philosophy.
They couldn't possibly come and get him in the church.
What if Kevin was an adult? What if Kevin, had more responsibility or knew how to defend himself or whatever? Then what? You still leave your house because someone else is going to come in and take your stuff? What a strange philosophy this man has. Don't you take pride in living where you are and defending it?
What is it about the church that's going to magically defend Kevin from two criminals?
I don't get that. Why don't you call your neighbors? There are other things to do, of course. But what's wrong with Kevin doing this course of action? Because he wants to. If you weren't a kid, if you weren't as resourceful as Kevin, let's say you were 18, 19, you're a young man, young woman, whatever, and you had a fight. You know how to beat the shit out of people or whatever. It's like, yeah, they're going to come on, open the door. I'm right here. What are you going to do? It's like whatever is up to that person is their choice. They live there. They have every right to defend themselves.
The Wet Bandits aren't going to the church. They don't even know he's there. They're going to the McAllister house. In a Duty to Retreat state, that is what you're expected to do. If you don't have to kill someone, then you shouldn't kill someone.
Oh my God, he didn't kill them.
Yeah, he didn't kill them at all. He didn't use lethal force. He just used enough force that he hit them in the head with a couple of cans. They made them fall down some stairs. the worst injury they may have got is a spike in their foot because he put a nail in the stairs. I got hit in the head with an iron, and it's all cartoonish and more slapstick. No one fucking dies. It's not lethal.
I think this guy should, I just come back to the idea that he's all this whole video is predicated on the idea all these evil right wingers. They think that property is more valuable than human life. Like, well, yeah, it is. If you listen to George Carlin, he's like sanctity of life. Sanctity. There's no sanctity of life. Okay, you know why they have sanctity of life? Because you're alive. You're invested in being alive. You're invested in life having a future, life having some value to it. When there is no value to life, okay, there is no value. You're just alive. That's why you hold. That's why you hold value in life. No one cares about the cancer. Save the cancer cells. No one cares about that. George Carlin had a whole rant on this stuff, and he was pretty left.
I wouldn't think like Home Alone is one of the least political films you could possibly find. And Renegade Cut is somehow managing to turn the film into the most conservative, right-wing propaganda ever. If this was your only idea behind like the film, and like if you heard Renegade Cut talking about this film, it's like, holy shit, this sounds like an alt-right, terrible Nazi film. It's like, oh my god, it's a film about a child who murders people who try to enter his house. It's like, no, that's not what the film is at all.
Blonde and white, so it's like Republicans are saying that they're going to oppress the poor people or something.
I mean, is he going to bring up the fact that Kevin is like a blonde hair, blue eyes?
Oh no.
I don't know. I wouldn't put it past him at this point.
That would be like when we start seriously considering that something's wrong with this man. Yeah, that would be it. Here's Rock Suzuki again. I'm sorry I got to go. This video is literally getting me angry. I'm not a big fan of the USA police, but the guy is the definition of racist. He's pretty much telling us his stripes. Yeah, it's kind of sad. And Jake the Surgeon again, thank you. A child doesn't know the law? Imagine my shock. Yeah, he's a 9-year-old.
To clarify that Renegade Cut is wrong, people of color can succeed. The people of color are smart. People of color are talented, despite what Renegade Cut would want you to believe. Okay, there are plenty of people of color who can succeed, who have middle class jobs, or even rich, and they go on vacations too, just like everybody else.
People of color can exceed just as much as rich people.
Absolutely.
Oh god, I'm never gonna stop taking the piss out of Biden. I love him. I love you, Biden.
It doesn't matter if you're this or normal. One of those.
If you're not in mortal danger, then you can't kill someone. The idea
of really? Yeah, that's literally the law. That's literally the law. You can't go around shooting people in public or even at your house unless you legitimately feel threatened and you are in mortal danger. You feel that you are in mortal danger. That's what it comes down to. Okay, that's literally the law, Renegade Cut. It's literally the law.
If he's going to say that he's using a gun right now, he's using a BB gun, an air rifle. He shoots him in the face, and all it does is sting.
It's annoying, but it's not going to kill him.
Mm-hmm. And that's the point. He's trying to piss him off.
If it killed him, it wouldn't be a comedy. Something else.
He should have aimed for the eye. Like the BB pellet just goes straight through his eye into his brain.
Kill him.
Protecting himself from bodily harm, goes out the window since he's aware that the bandits are coming, and chooses to run back to his home to inflict potentially lethal harm on them.
Not potential.
Kevin could have easily avoided any potential
if he went back
to himself, but chose.
They had to follow him back to his house to get him.
Protecting himself. He's protecting his stuff. His Christmas presents, his rich family's silverware, etc.
Yeah, because they have no right to it.
Thinking that Kevin has a right to protect said property.
Yes, he does. Law, literally. Yeah.
What the fuck? Does the Renegade Cut not know about your stuff?
I'm pretty sure it's like so many other bedtuber types. They have never actually been in mortal danger before. They never actually had to encounter this sort of thing before. It's like, oh well, he's not really defending himself. He's defending his stuff. I'm pretty sure that this is why I get this kind of feeling that Renegade Cut, like so many other breadtuber types, come from middle class or upper middle class families where they lived in safe neighborhoods. They had cops called when things went awry, and they never had to deal with this nonsense.
I want to point out that it's like if all this stuff gets stolen, they literally have nothing. If someone strips your home clean of everything valuable, you now have nothing. You own nothing. You have nothing to your name. What the fuck? You have valuables, things that are very valuable to you. You don't want other people to have them. Again, my computer, other things I own, which admittedly right now isn't much, but it's still things I own and are very important to me. Why am I not allowed to say, hey, look, that thing that's very important to me, that's very important to my future, or it maybe means something because it's been passed down generation to generation. So maybe it's something my grandfather gave to me. It's like, no, it's mine. Fuck off. You can't have it.
Renegade Cut really expects us to believe that if somebody came to his house to break in and steal all of his stuff, he would just sit back and relax while they took all of his things.
No.
All of his TV, his computer.
If he was aware, he'd have to leave the room and let them do it.
Because I'm going to get myself some coffee. You just steal all my stuff, and I'll be back in a little bit. That's Renegade Cut, apparently. Yeah, sure. I don't believe you, Renegade Cut. I don't believe you. To quote Moriarty from BBC's Sherlock Holmes, I don't believe your stories. Okay, this is not real. You wouldn't do this if it actually happened. You probably wouldn't actually throw yourself to a rabid, violent mob, and thinking that you'd be okay. That's definitely not what's going on.
Here is Joe Crazy. I can tell this guy hates the castle doctrine. Yeah, he spent the first part of his video showing video shots of people using the castle doctrine for self-defense and other such things that were noteworthy for some reason in this video. I don't know if that was applicable. We get where he's coming from, but it's not applicable to this movie. So
it's grade A, making something that is not political
yeah, for
no reason.
Here is Jake. Here is Jake the Surgeon. He is a child. You salted toad of a beta. Yeah, that's a good one. Salted toad.
But from this, Renegade Cut has insulted police. He's insulted white people. He's insulted he's been legitimately racist and
insulted by minorities and people of color, saying that white people can afford this stuff, but apparently, according to Renegade Cut, people of color cannot. I can assure you that I know quite a few Hispanic people, okay, and a lot of them can go on vacations. A lot of them do go on vacations during Christmas. So, regardless of what your beliefs may be, Renegade Cut, people of color can succeed just as well as white people. Sorry.
And he's also managed to bring in conservative politics and gun laws. There isn't a single gun in this film, or at least used by the protagonist or the antagonist. And I'm talking specifically about gun, not air rifles. He somehow manages to make this whole thing about guns.
He also mixed up classism, talking about the bourgeois and the rich, and sort of combining. I don't know how you combine the bourgeois and the rich together, or calling the middle class rich, or this or that. Oh, it's a mess. You're just sitting there going, dude.
Renegade Cut is a man of many talents. Okay, Renegade Cut is just a man of many talents. He can do all these things.
John Moriarty, he gives no consideration to the fact that the burglars don't value their own lives. They're breaking into people's homes. They could just not burgle. They could also realize that going into this home is very dangerous after the first or second or third or fourth time they try. But they keep trying. So once you have someone continuously doing something illegal multiple times in succession, I think you have enough leeway to blow these people away if you had the opportunity. If they were trying to actively invade your home multiple times after failing, that's a pattern. That's intent. That's repeated offense. And of course, if you were telling them to go away, or you could add all sorts of things to this scenario. But because it's a comedy, it's meant to be that way. It's supposed to be unbelievable of these bumbling fools hurting themselves when they should be having concussions and multiple broken fractures and what have you. Okay, I'll keep on going.
Maybe, But he could have just as easily protected his family's property by contacting the authorities. Or if he doesn't trust the cops, and who would, he could have told the old man what was happening.
Oh, God.
Okay, wasn't it set up earlier in the film that he didn't... Because some people in chat have mentioned it, that it was set up early in the film that I think it was something to do with the toothbrush. He accidentally stole a toothbrush or something, and then he's now scared of the police.
Yeah, so he didn't want to get caught, so he didn't want to call them. Something like that.
Yeah, so even though it's stupid, because, yeah, it's a cartoon, and it's about a kid, defending his house. Well, not a cartoon, but a comedy, that you're not really supposed to take that seriously. It's just a Christmas film.
But isn't that interesting how he didn't bring that up? Like, the reason why he didn't call the police? Like, there's an actual in-story reason why this is the case. And he's saying, why didn't he just call the police? It's like, the story told you why he didn't.
I think Bad Boy Beta said, yeah, he was afraid of the police because I think he believed he stole something. I think he did steal something. Yeah, the toothbrush.
Yeah, you put it in the DM. I didn't see that. Yeah, Kevin's mom calls the police early in the film. After they find out Kevin is home, the cops show up. Kevin doesn't have the door because he's afraid of his neighbor, or because he's scared how the pizza guy early in the film. The cops ring the bell a couple times. Dismiss the whole thing as tell that family to count their kids again. Oh yeah, because he stole the toothbrush. Because he stole a toothbrush because he was scared by a creepy neighbor. The guy that sits next to him in the church and runs out the store, and he doesn't trust cops. There you go.
All right, there's an in-universe reason why Kevin does not call the cops. That's perfectly fine. Especially when you're talking about kids or crazy people or people with not the full picture. They're being lied to or they don't know reality too well. You can get away with that stuff in stories, no problem. It's totally believable.
Do you know the reason why he's ignoring the context? It's because he wanted to make that he doesn't trust police joke.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck me, Renegade Cut. Just tone it down, for fuck's sake.
I mean, they're in a church full of people, and the community could have acted on behalf of Kevin.
Oh, okay, I have a question. If a child started screaming, hey, there are nasty people that want to hurt me, are you going to take that child seriously? Not many people, spoiler alert, not many people take children seriously, and probably for mostly good reasons.
I don't know. He's trying to appeal to. He should be able to talk to other people. It's like, yeah, he did. He's talking to this priest. He should talk to other people. It's like, okay, maybe.
No, if a kid just started running up to you and started making all these claims like he was in danger or something, you'd be difficult to believe a child, like a 9-year-old, who doesn't have a full understanding of the. And the film could easily just play that off if you really just start going around.
Kevin could have escalated the situation, but because this takes place in Illinois, which enforces Castle Doctrine, Kevin can probably do all of this legally.
This has nothing to do with the Castle Doctrine. What a pile of nonsense.
I'm glad he can do that. I'm glad he can defend his house legally and defend himself against these intruders onto his property legally. I'm glad he can do that. Awesome. Thank you.
This has nothing to do with law. Nothing. Kevin was like, oh, because I have the Castle Doctrine in Illinois, therefore I can defend my... No!
I'm pretty sure he never thought about law. I can have Castle Doctrine. I'm pretty sure that never ran through his mind. I'm pretty sure the only thing that ran through his mind are these people are trying to hurt me and steal from me. I need to defend the house. Because they want to hurt me.
I want to be clear about something. This is not an argument that what Kevin is doing is illegal or legal. This is an argument that what Kevin is doing is unnecessary and a product of a violent culture and violent laws.
Oh my God. Okay, so somehow a comedy that's spoofing the fact of making fun of what happens to a bunch of burglars in a comical way is a result of America being America because we have a violent country.
How come it's his defense of his house is indicative of a violent nature when he's fighting against 2 burglars? What about those guys?
This is no different than watching a Roadrunner cartoon, only it's in real life and it's in the setting of Christmas. That's it. The coyote keeps getting smashed and flattened, and then it keeps coming back. That's it. That's all it is.
Like you said, they're not being like they're hurt, yeah, but that's like a lot of things that they encounter would be like probably they would get hurt a little bit more because it's a comedy. They're not that hurt. Yeah, they look like they've sustained some damage, but they're not going to be that hurt by it. It's just funny.
There's a larger suspension of disbelief.
Yeah, exactly.
Here is Latso Skaven. The Home Alone kid is actually Joel. This is how he learned to kill. You can see the bloodlust in his eyes.
Yeah, I like the theory that he is Jigsaw. Kevin McAllister is Jigsaw. It doesn't make any sense. I always like the idea that Kevin McAllister grew up to be a Jigsaw. That's fantastic.
I'm not sure what that reference is, but okay.
Oh, the Saw movies.
Oh, the Saw movies. Okay, I gotcha.
No, he grew up to be a literal Jigsaw.
I was like, what?
Well, I do like also the fact that Home Alone inspired the Hitman games.
Really?
It actually was the Hitman games. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
The company was going to make a Home Alone game, and they were making all kinds of allow you to do all kinds of traps and setups where you can defend your home against the burglars, as you have every right to do. And they said, you know what? I think they canceled it or something like that, and said, you know what? Let's just maybe have all these assets. Let's repurpose it. So they made the Hitman game, where it's just you set up different strategies and events to murder a target instead. And they have an homage to that, to the beginnings, and I believe in the Hitman game, the new one. It's in the Paris level, where you have to stop two burglars from stealing things from the big Paris mansion.
Can it now be canon that when Kevin grows up, he's now like Agent 47?
Unfortunately, no.
Come on. You know you want to do it. Come on.
He can be an enemy. He can be like a rival assassin, but he can't be Agent 47.
It's just like that'd be the most interesting crossover ever. It's like Hitman 47 versus Kevin McAllister. It's like Hitman has to actually go through the match to kill him. And
that'd be cool.
Setting traps.
Hitman Blood Money. There is a rival assassin you have to go up against. He's been hitting that out towards the game. I think it was Mark Parchesi III, and he's from a rival assassination program called the Franchise. He's also a bald killer clone. I mean, he's not bald. He's also a killer clone. Is that they're more defective, so they die easily.
Clones, we're just killers. We just can't help ourselves.
One can make the argument that setting lethal traps is a legal gray area, and there is legal precedent.
No, it's not illegal. No, you can do whatever you want in your house.
The guys would not be hurt by his traps if they didn't enter his house against his will.
Get this kind of home defense in hot water, but I won't be getting into all of that here. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a humble citizen who thinks we should probably kill less people. That should not be a controversial statement.
Unless they're rich, right? Unless they're rich.
Now, because this movie is rated PG,
he's not
Kevin's
killing
lethal
anyone.
traps will somehow
they're not lethal.
Miraculously not kill the
okay.
bandits.
Okay, I have
here. These are lethal traps.
They're not. They're not lethal traps. Okay, what part of icy stairs, okay, with a reasonable suspension of disbelief, stairs, you could easily survive falling down some icy stairs. There's only 3 steps. You could easily survive falling down actual stairs. Well, for the most part. You probably get injured, but you're fine for the most part.
I think the iron falling on your skull would give you a concussion. You'd be knocked out. Yeah,
that would fucking do a lot of damage. But at the same time, because it's slapstick, you have that extra suspension of disbelief. There's nothing which is penetrating the skin. There's nothing which is causing them again, because of the slapstick part, you have that greater suspension of disbelief that if the thing which would actually kill someone or has a chance of killing someone, it doesn't, because you don't see their death. Or you'd like a gun, for example. Even slapstick, shooting someone with a gun, it's probably going to kill someone. But things like that don't visibly kill someone, like just an iron falling on someone's head, it's not going to kill.
Yeah, the one I never understood was when he had the it was like a wire or some sort of hot wire that he'd put to the end of a doorknob, and that would cause the other end of the doorknob to heat up. Like that sounds pretty dangerous. You would light your door on fire, I would think. But
yeah, you'd also probably kill them first.
I like Renegade Cut gets on his moral high horse, saying, "I just believe that we should kill less people. Well, no one died in the movie. How about instead we should steal, not to steal. Okay, how about steal from less people? How about don't steal at all? How about that? How about instead of trying to get on your moral high horse about something that's not even in the movie, you get on your moral high horse about something that is in the movie, which is theft."
What's that? The whole thing. Are you supposed to like not agree with him here? It's like, I just agree. I just think that we should kill less people. It's like, I mean, if we can help it, yeah, sure.
Yeah, in every single one of these instances, you're not supposed to go out and kill people, aggressively. In every one of these instances, it's always supposed to be that you're just, minding your own business, and someone comes to you and threatens your life, and you feel no other recourse than lethal force. That's every single one. That's the law. That's the law.
I just want to imagine like how Renegade Cut sees this. Like, I just imagine Renegade Cut sees this. Kevin went out and he killed everyone, and he came back covered in blood.
But he felt clean. Now, why did he feel clean? Because he was clean. Because all he did was murder communists or something.
Not because he was clean. Because of hold your ground law. Because of hold your ground laws.
He was clean. He used hold your ground laws. Apostle Doctrine.
Here's that's just given. Kevin 47, Blood Money. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's a mod for that yet, but okay.
Let's say he was the base for the clone of Mark Parchesi III. That could do it.
Tyler Preston, don't read the comments if you want to preserve your sanity, and reminder, Renegade Cut was a member of Channel Awesome. Oh my goodness, really?
Oh, he was? That makes so much sense. Everything's coming together now. Okay.
What did he do? What was his role in Channel Awesome? Does anyone know? He wasn't in any skits, was he?
I didn't even know he was part of it.
Yeah, that's weird. Okay. Jeez. Okay. Well, that answers a lot of questions we might have had. Whoa.
According to Renegade Cut, it's okay to commit crimes as long as they're against rich white people. That's it. That's according to Renegade Cut. That's what his philosophy says.
Well, I think the only thing we know him from is his actual channel, because his stuff is so ridiculous. I don't think we care to know where he came from. We just thought this is a crazy person. And now that we know, it's like, oh, he worked with other crazy people. It's like, okay, we got you. That makes more sense. All right. Jake the Surgeon. Put Renegade Cut in a room and make him watch the Toxic Avenger movies and watch as his fragile sensibilities are destroyed like my sanity with this garbage. The Toxic Avenger movies. I'm trying to remember what those are. Toxic Avenger. Let's see. The Toxic Avenger. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. Interesting. Very, very American. That's for sure. Lots of American flags there. Looks very comic book like. I think I might have actually seen this one. Wow, what a crazy live action looking. Guys, just go into Google image search and just do Toxic Avenger. That's wow. That's some interesting imagery. Kind of reminds me of
Vader put a good thing in DMs.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of that guy from Goonies, the guy with the deformed face, only like ripped.
Today's hero we need right now.
What was his name in Goonies? I can't remember. Chunk? No, that was the other guy.
His name was Sloth.
Sloth, yeah. Like Sloth was a superhero. I was like, whoa.
That's my kind of superhero.
Baby Ruth. All right, Alex Halo. They did die to pigeons, maybe. Pigeons. Did they get covered in food or something? Like, was there a trap or like that? I can't recall. That's so Skaven. Oh, wow. Kevin is on top of a Korean diner. Oh. That sounds like a bad Ghostbusters reference. I could be wrong. Anyway. Whew. 11 minutes. We're past the halfway mark. We still got more ways to go. Holy jeez.
See, this is how Castle Doctrine works. There is a threat to the home, and regardless of how unreasonable it might seem to defend it with an escalation of violence, the courts will almost certainly side with the homeowner. Capitalism gives more power to people with more money, so more means...
Now he's making it about capitalism.
Court, and more means in which to influence the law. Any threat to that money is treated as equivalent to a threat to one's life, which is how Castle Doctrine stays on the books, and how Kevin can do whatever he wants. Castle Doctrine allows Kevin to burn these men alive for what...
No.
He's not burning them alive. He burns the hat. Fuck off.
This is specifically set up for this exact shot. This entire rope thing with the door is completely unrealistic. That's why it's there. It's to have Joe Pesci make a funny face with his hat on fire. That's it. To scare the crap out of him.
I love how he somehow managed to make a capitalism bad.
Because you have more money. Because you have more money, therefore you have more property, therefore you have more power with the courts. It's like, what?
Which means that you can get away with murder.
I guess. I don't know. Lieutenant Colonel Tanya von de Gershoff. Money gives power to people with more money. Yeah, the more stuff you have, the more stuff you have, the more money you have. Yeah, technically that's true. Kevin Sniper Elite 5. I don't know. Is that a game? Sniper Elite? I'm trying to remember. Might be. I don't know these too many references. I don't get them all. I'm so limited. I'm so old. I don't know all these cool things. Jake the Surgeon. Money allows me to buy food, shelter, and ladies of the night. So yes, money is necessary for life. Okay, that's it's like the lifeblood of the commercial realm. Yeah, that's true. I'll give you that. Joe Crazy. Poor states have Castle Doctrine as well. Numbnuts. Yeah, it's all throughout the country. So I don't get what this.
Look, you remember that he views everyone who's white as being middle class.
Yeah, everyone's bourgeois.
Everyone's middle. All white people are middle class and rich.
Oh, they're middle class and rich. That's a little confusing. All right. Quite sure Marx would have something to say about that, but okay.
Begins as a non-violent crime. He permanently scars Harry's hand like he's Major Todt from Raiders of the Lost Ark. To summarize.
Oh my god.
Well, then maybe he shouldn't have tried to, break into this house.
That's so funny. He tried to equate a fictional Nazi character.
Of course. That's it. That's what was going on.
That's amazing. That's crazy, but it's amazing.
Kind of weird brainwashing factory they run over there at Channel Awesome, where the people make this sort of stretch to get their politics across and their agenda across.
Remember that scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark where that guy does a Hail Hitler and there's a little tattoo on his hand? Doesn't that remind you of like that show with Macaulay Culkin where he burns?
No, it didn't remind me of that. Apparently, it reminded you of that, Renegade Cut.
I think this is more about him than it does about us, to be honest.
Yeah, where was it from? The Beginner's Guide. I think it says more about you than it says about us.
Oh, boy.
Castle Doctrine on paper is about protection, but in practice, it allows for intruders to be killed regardless of their perceived threat level.
Don't intrude in people's houses, okay? Just don't do it. Once you make the choice to intrude in someone's house, you have to be aware that they are going to defend themselves in any way possible. Because you do not belong there. You have not been invited to be there, and you're probably going in there to, if you are an intruder, you're probably there to either steal from them, do them harm, or both. They don't know.
Let's keep in mind the context of this is a comedy. It's supposed to be for giggles.
They have every right to defend themselves. You don't have the right to steal from them. Okay, you don't have the right to intrude on their home or their property without their explicit permission.
You know what this would be like? This would be like if we were to look at Lower Decks and try to take it seriously and try to make a political statement about how Mariner's against authority, she should be court-martialed, she should be kicked out. Like all these other like laws we could state, going against regs, being drunk on the job, all these civil laws. We can bring up all kinds of stupid shit. But we don't.
I have actually.
Well, we said a few things because Starfleet is its own thing.
Because it's still in the Star Trek universe. That's why we bring those up, because Star Trek is not a comedy; it's something else. And the only reason we bring those up is because Lower Decks is still canonically set in Star Trek universe. If it was its own show, then yeah, it'd be fun. But because it's canonically set in Star Trek universe, still we bring those things up. Because it has to maintain coherency, it has to maintain consistency, and it most assuredly does not.
Here is W.D. Frost. So how is Castle Doctrine bad again? So far it seems like a good thing to me. Well, the movie seems to think it's a good thing. If that's even... I wouldn't
say the movie says it's a good thing, because the film doesn't have anything to fucking do with Castle Doctrine.
Yeah. I think it's a good thing. The right to defend yourself against intruders who mean you harm. Yeah, it's a good thing.
I'm just trying to... I don't even remember the term Castle Doctrine until late 2000, where there was that story of someone defending themselves and in their home or what have you, because that was part of a civil lawsuit, or rather a criminal lawsuit. So this idea was not even in the hearts and minds of people unless you actually had to go to court or were a victim of burglary and it had a horrible end. So I don't think the hearts and minds of America were even aware of this law unless you were a lawyer or something and equated it with Home Alone.
And that theft of belongings or even trespassing are justification enough for death. By the way, I say the Wet Bandits' home invasion begins as a nonviolent crime, but in fairness, once the Wet Bandits have enough of Kevin's traps, Harry threatens to bite off Kevin's fingers one at a time, which is in another stratosphere of lunacy. He's like, I'm gonna do it one at a time. Not all at once, like he wants to savor it. What is even Harry's deal? So in the end...
He's angry, and he's going to bite his fingers off.
Who cares if it was non-violent? They just wanted to rob the house. They're still intruders. Yeah, the homeowner has every right to do whatever they want to defend themselves. That's what that means. That's what the law means. Because you have no right to intrude on their property. You have no right to steal from them. You have no right to instill physical harm upon them because you feel like it. You don't have that right. But because you don't have that right, the homeowners have every right to defend themselves and their property, whether you like it or not.
In the end, Kevin calls the police, suggesting he could have done this the whole time, and the cops do what they do best. Control the poor. Protect and serve.
Control the poor. Here we go.
Yeah, control. That's what they do. They control the poor. They definitely don't, fight crime at all, ever.
Because the robbers are poor, The
institution is imperfect, man. So therefore it's evil all the way around, man.
These guys have been robbing and looting for years. They have a name. They have a calling sign. They do at the end of all their jobs. Yeah, they're poor.
How do you know they're poor? Actually, how do you know they're poor? What if they're rich? They just get rich robbing things. Golgo 13, he's rich and he still does the assassination stuff. So how do you know it's definitively that they are poor? And then they have enough money to get contacts and trucks and costumes and things.
Yeah.
So how do you know they are poor?
Because cops never deal with blue collar crime or any other rich people. They don't touch
white collar crime.
Yeah, no.
They don't do white collar crime. That's ridiculous. And also, what do you expect them to do? You want them to, if they're rich, you want them to go robbing houses in tuxedos? No, I don't think, even if they were rich, I'm pretty sure they robbed the house wearing exactly what they're wearing in the movie. Even if the Wet Bandits were themselves rich.
I do enjoy the fact that the police in the movie are always either incompetent or are actually criminals in disguise. That amuses me. At the end of the day, people with bunkers full of guns and doomsday cans of peaches will say that because the Wet Bandits trespassed on the McAllister home, regardless of the fact that their intent was theft and at least not initially violence, then they deserve to die.
Yeah, just the crazy people. The crazy people are the one that says that, not just everyone else except you. Definitely not that.
Who is saying they deserve to die? I don't get it.
They deserve they deserve whatever they get.
Yeah.
When the homeowner decides to defend themselves, because they are once again trespassing on their property, which they intend to steal from and violate.
Here is Jake the Surgeon. Thank you, sir. The idea of property exists in every animal. Sea otters keep a special stone all their lives for cracking open shells. Stone Age nomadic tribes hand items with value. What in the name of the dawn is wrong with this butt puncher? I don't think he gets how the world works. I don't think he owns stuff. I don't think he has savings. I don't think he knows what property is or owning a thing is. I don't get it. Like, if this is the case, he'd be like, yeah, my door is always unlocked. People come and go. They take my stuff. I don't care. Like, this is the kind of mentality you'd have to think this way.
What if I turned it on its head? What if I went the other way around? How does Kevin? Why do you think Kevin and his family deserve to be robbed from? Because they're rich, right? That's his only thing. Because they're white and rich. Therefore, they deserve to have their space violated, their property violated, their things stolen from.
Like, yeah, I guess there's all these people breaking into Renegade Cut's house and stealing his computer, so he can't make videos. And he goes out and buys another computer, and this is a constant process he's okay with. I don't know.
He can be okay with it. Doesn't mean the rest of us have to be.
Yeah. Correction, you have the right to defend yourself unless you are in California. Oh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can defend yourself unless you're in California. And then if you dare defend yourself, you're probably going to prison or something. Probably something like that.
If you look at the actual wiki for California, there's two sections, one in the penal code and one is quoting a actual court case. I don't know exactly. This is all legalese speak, but I'm sure you guys can check it out, see the difference there. The laws of California are a little bit different than the rest of the states. So
it's their fault. But maybe this is just me, but I'm not comfortable saying people deserve to die. That seems extreme.
Sometimes there are scenarios where people deserve to die. That's the best case solution to some crimes. So I'm not saying I'm the smartest guy to answer those questions. Those are big topics. But I think once you start getting into the double digits of deaths from someone, you might want to consider the death penalty. Just maybe.
It feels like he's going to the end of his video now. He's arrived at his point, but there's still 7 minutes left for some reason.
I know.
Dismissive of human life, even if said lives are two admittedly crummy people. I mean, let's be honest, by Home Alone 2, any argument that the Wet Bandits are proletariat heroes goes out the window.
What? Proletariat hero? Oh,
that
yeah.
I don't think that was ever on the table, that they were proletariat heroes. That was never on the table at all. They had totally and completely selfish intentions. They just wanted to steal from people so they can get rich. Easy.
Working class citizens are apparently criminals now. Okay.
I don't think the guy who advocates for stealing from the rich, or stealing at all, and hurting children, and violating people's safe space and property and personal space has any room to get on his moral high horse about anything.
I hate this idea that this is the way he's thinking. He has to think like a socialist. So you're either bourgeois or you're proletariat. I don't know. This is a sad way to look at people. Jake the Surgeon, if they're rich and white, then go all out. Apparently. Proletariat, you're fine. You're God's gift to creation. You steal all you want, You're the victim in every case.
In the first movie, we don't know their story. Maybe they're robbing these bougie houses to feed their families.
Oh,
no,
God.
That's not the case.
Are you joking?
They're robbing the house because they're bad guys. They're bad guys.
They are bad people doing bad things. They've been doing it for a long time. They're not going, oh, I can't wait to sell all this stuff to get food on the table for Christmas. No. They have been
case that every time he says the word bougie, I hear boozy, like they're really drunk or something.
I don't know.
This should be obvious, but crimes of an economic nature generally happen for economic reasons.
No. Look. He even mentioned this at the beginning of the movie, where Joe Pesci has, in his words, an almost sexual desire to steal from this house. You don't get that from a guy who wants to steal to feed his family. You get that from a guy who likes stealing and stealing from other people. Okay, he likes stealing. He likes being a bad guy. There's no mention of family. No, I'm going to rob this house even though I don't want to, but I must. There's no sense of that. The only hints and clues we get from these guys is that they really, really like stealing from people.
I'm trying to wrap my brain around his philosophy. It's as if he read Marx all throughout university, if he even went, and he based everything he watches based off Marx. And I'm sitting there
I don't think you can come to this conclusion or this mindset without going to university. So he probably did.
There's always an economic reason. Yes, if they were rich, they wouldn't have to steal. That's true.
See, I like how he says, like, how do you know they're not stealing to steal to feed their families? How do you know they're not rich? How do you know they're not rich themselves? It's like enjoy stealing. Yeah, that's what it seems like to me. That's where I get the clues from in the movie. In the movie,
we don't
this weird headcanon fan fiction stuff.
We don't need to know why they're doing it. We know it's bad. We laugh when the bad guys get hit. When they're too dumb to figure out how to solve the trap. We like that. That's it. We don't need a whole backstory of they're really from a poor family that was abusive and all these other things. We don't care. We don't need that. You're wasting our time if you were to do that. I don't want to feel sorry for these guys. They're the bad guys.
I want Kevin to do whatever he wants to them. I want Kevin to win. I want Kevin to put together some hilarious traps for them to fall into. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Home Alone 2, straight up cartoon villains who steal from the poor. The Wet Bandits have no backstory.
They were straight up cartoon villains in the first movie. So yeah, of course they would be straight up cartoon villains in the second movie.
So what did I miss? I just got back.
He's trying to defend them as potential proletariat heroes. Because we don't know their backstory. It's like, what are you talking about?
I mean, that they're not heroes by any means. They are terrible people. The story is reinforcing that they're terrible people.
Here's Jake the Surgeon. How do you know they're not child traffickers?
That is also true.
I can do anything I want. I can describe to them any backstory I want if you want to play this game, Renegade Cut. What if they're trying to steal to feed their families? What if they're child traffickers? What if they're already rich and they're stealing because they like it? Like you yourself said, that they enjoyed it a lot. In your words, he gets a sexual pleasure from thinking about stealing. So it seems more plausible to me that they're just bad guys who love stealing as opposed to poor guys who just want to steal to make ends meet.
I know someone is already making a Don comparison there. But the thing is about the Don is that he was a literal just random person who met. He wasn't doing anything bad, he wasn't doing anything good, and then all of a sudden this lady just comes along and snaps his wrist. And then the point EFAT was making is that we literally know nothing about them. We don't know if he's good, we don't know if he's bad, we don't know if he's coming back from a child hospital after raising some money for a charity or something. And these guys, we legitimately know that these are terrible people in what they're trying to do, in the way they act, the way they talk. So you can't just suddenly contrive like, oh, we don't know who these people are. It's like, yes, we do, because the film shows us they are terrible. They don't show us that they're stealing from the rich to give to the poor. They're not showing us any of that. They're not heroes. They're actively villains. They're actively horrible people.
Motivation, the personification of crime to suburbanites and conservatives. And as the 90s...
No, they're not the personification of crime. They're criminals. That's as far as it goes. We don't have to say, oh, these are the pinnacle of bad guy. It's like, no, they're just criminals.
It's not thematic. They're not symbolic of anything. They're just criminals.
Yeah, that's as deep as it gets. It's not conservative values. It's not this or that. It's just they're bad guys who steal. Oh, my goodness. Joe Crazy, thanks again. What if they're cannibals? Oh, my God. Threatening to bite fingers is the kind of red flag. At least Joe has a reference to the movie. Compared to Renegade Cut, he's like, well, they're clearly proletariat heroes. I'm like, no.
What if they're cannibal human underground dwellers or something?
Oh, no. It was such an innocent film. And I'm like, oh, dear, what have we done to this film? It's a political message about the cops.
Home Alone wasn't political. But to people who want to see politics and everything, it becomes political. I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this as an example.
Jake the Surgeon. How dare anyone sully the Don's name? He loves orphans, so we don't have to. He is a hero to us all. Yes. Oh.
How dare you, sir?
I'll praise the Don.
Rolled on and the U.S. became more and more paranoid about crime, the wet bandits were exaggerated even further. From mere cat burglars in the suburbs in Home Alone 1 to despicable monsters in Home Alone 2. The Home Alone movies give us a picture of crime so bizarrely, cartoonishly exaggerated that it's easy to say, hey, screw those guys, give them the chair.
Yes!
Yes, you got it!
You got it! They're supposed to be cartoonish.
See that scene where the skeleton, he's a skeleton in one scene? That's a thing you see in the cartoons. Whenever Daffy Duck tries to open a door and is electrocuted, you see his duck skeleton or whatever. Same idea.
Cartoon world isn't the real world. It's just what the movie wants you to see. Cat burglars as irredeemable villains who go from zero to child murder very quickly. In the real world, I just don't think lethal violence should be employed in so broad a scenario as a guy walking toward a garage. I've been the victim of crimes before. Someone tried to break into my apartment back when I lived in Baltimore. Another time, and this is true, someone took a package off my doorstep, which was going to be a Christmas present.
Oh no!
Actual Home Alone 2 wet bandit experience.
Okay, someone tried to break into his apartment. Or did someone break into his apartment?
So wait a second.
Yeah, they didn't actually break into his apartment.
So wait a second.
Someone stole a package off of his...
someone tried to break into his apartment and someone stole a package. So there was no instance where he had to face down this choice, where he had to face down either my stuff must survive or I must fight back to live.
The thing is, I've never been on the reciprocating end of crime at all. So... But the thing is, I'm not going to judge people who are in the situation that I haven't been in and I'm probably not going to be in.
Think about this. I'm a partially victim of these scenarios. I didn't get into a violent confrontation, but if I did, I'd walk away. Therefore, I'm justified in my opinion. It's like, dude, good for you.
Let me rewind a little bit. Just so we can make sure we got him correctly. This is in case he said that. Just a little bit.
Give him the chair. But this cartoon world isn't the real world. It's just what the movie wants you to see. Cat burglars as irredeemable villains who go from zero to child murder very quickly. In the real world, I just don't think lethal violence should be employed in so broad a scenario as a guy walking toward a garage. I've been the victim of crimes before. Someone tried to break into my apartment back when I lived in Baltimore. Another time...
Okay, so yeah, it was tried. It didn't say did break into my apartment. It's someone tried to break into my apartment. There's a big difference between those two things. Okay. And then another example is that someone stole a package from my porch, you guys. Okay, I think, who hasn't that happened to? Like, it happened to me before.
Things have been stolen, yes. I've had things stolen in my life before.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, I had some pretty big things stolen from me before. But the thing is, he didn't have in either of those instances.
I'd imagine there's a lot of crime in hell.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. But in both of those instances, he was never faced with the same confrontation that Kevin McAllister was faced with.
Let's not say Kevin McAllister. The actual people he's judging people who defend themselves, defend their property, defend their families possibly. And he's judging all that, and based on the fact that someone once tried to break into my apartment and probably failed, and then someone once stole a package that was going to be a Christmas present.
He never had to face that. He never had to make that choice. He never had to face those consequences or make that decision. He never had to encounter this thing. He never had to encounter what people have to use the Catholic doctrine have to encounter, because it's not you can murder. That's not what it says. It says you're allowed to use lethal force if you must at the final resort. You can use lethal force if the guy is breaking into your house, if you think he means you harm, that sort of thing. So a guy trying to break into your apartment while you're away at school or something, I don't know. But a guy who tried to break into your apartment, it doesn't sound like you met the guy. It doesn't sound like you saw him. It's like you saw like maybe some meddling happening, or maybe you did catch him trying to break into your apartment, but he saw you and left. Because I didn't hear any result of a confrontation, and you said the word tried, which means it tells me that he didn't break into his apartment. Because when people have their apartment broken into, they don't say tried. They say my apartment was broken into. So he can say all he wants, that he knows what he's talking about. He's experienced crime. But he's never experienced a crime, as far as he's told us, where he had to make this decision and maybe even think about using castle doctrine.
You know, he may as well say, I once crossed a road, and that means that I have total authority to talk about the accidents between cyclists and drivers. Drivers are horrible people. They try to kill all cyclists. They're horrible psychopaths.
They're also horrible capitalists because they have more money. They're horrible rich people because they have more money than cyclists. And cyclists, China has communism, so that's good. Communism good. Chinese good. Bicycles good. But cars, trucks, planes, trains, those are all bad.
Only white people own cars.
Only the rich, only the white people, and they're going to kill you.
Only suburbanites.
Yeah. All right, that's so Skaven. This guy, how do we know the bad guys in Die Hard are the bad guys? I mean, they're not bad. They're just misunderstood when killing people. Oh, did he even do a Die Hard? I bet he might have a Die Hard video. I wouldn't be surprised. Tries to defend the terrorists. How far does this mentality of his go? The bad guys are really the good guys because they're not rich.
I think it's the whole again, if someone's rich, they're ultimately the bad guy.
Almost as if I did a video on this topic. Why all these people like
bad
guys? All these people like bad guys and anti-heroes over the good guy.
Oh God.
Well, there are usually people who don't like Batman purely because he's rich.
Yeah, they're children. The spoiled, pampered children. Usually, yeah, mentally speaking.
Yeah. Jake the Surgeon, Renegade Cut makes me want the chair.
Why are there still 6 minutes in this video? Is he going to just rant uncontrollably for the next 6 minutes or something?
I lost this.
He's going to make another jab at the police, and then he's also going to make several jabs towards white people.
He made his point. Here he said his beginning, made a middle, and came to a conclusion, but there's still 6 or 7 minutes left for some reason.
Yeah.
How many jabs at white people do you think he's going to make in this last couple minutes?
Just one.
I don't know. Maybe a few. Quite a few.
I'm willing to bet 3.
No, one. He's going to then attack some cops because he's going to talk about the law. And maybe the rich again, yeah. All right, let's find out.
This is true. I took a package off my doorstep, which was going to be a Christmas present. I had an actual Home Alone 2 Wet Bandit experience.
No, you did not.
No.
Not a Home Alone.
Let's just keep playing. We've already taken the piss out of it. Keep playing.
That was completely different.
The package was recovered, but you know what? Even if it hadn't, I still don't think I should be able to kill the guy to get my package back.
Because he didn't
what are you
your
talking
house.
about?
Your house. That's why you can't kill a guy because he stole your stuff. You can kill a guy if he breaks into your house and threatens you, or if your loved ones or your property. You can't kill a guy because he stole a package off your doorstep. That's ridiculous.
But he got the package back. He got the package back.
You got the package back.
Oh my God.
Speaking of Home Alone 2, what the heck is up with Home Alone 2? Kevin has accidentally...
Judging by this video, did we really have to sit through all this time? Couldn't we have just gone through a minute of this video? It's basically just a minute of this video over and over again, repeated for 20 minutes.
No, Litdev, listen to me. Listen. Someone stole my package, and then I got it back. And you see, it was such a traumatic experience for me. I mean, this means that I am perfectly capable of talking about the responsibilities of defending your livelihood, your home, your family, and I just can't. I've got PTSD. I just can't talk about my package.
This is incredible. Sorry, Renegade Cut. You don't get to kill people for stealing stuff off your doorstep.
I want to make a small package joke. I mean, in order
no package joke. A no package joke. Yeah.
Oh, well, and in order for the package to be stolen, it must have been small, right?
Yeah, more or less.
Renegade Cut must have a small package.
Separated from his family again and has a New York vacation by defrauding a fancy hotel. I would say, cool, stick it to the man, but this is just the rich robbing the rich. So
oh my
god.
A kid is rich. Are you?
I'm pretty sure legally he doesn't actually have any money.
Kevin McAllister stole from his dad.
Oh, no, he's not stealing. He's not stealing from the rich. He's actively putting it on his dad's credit card.
And if you put it into Renegade Cut's eyes, well, what it should be is that Kevin McAllister is stealing from his rich dad and the rich hotel. So Kevin McAllister should be a hero.
He's not even stealing from the rich hotel because it's all being charged to his dad's card.
His dad might not pay. Who knows? Yeah, I'll just let the card go. My credit could take a hit, right?
Because the rich are stealing from the rich, it's still bad, okay? It's like, why? Because the rich are doing it. It's like, so the poor doing it's okay? Like, what?
Bad Boy Beta just mentioned something good. Said, wait a minute. He mentioned the package was eventually recovered, meaning the cops got involved.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I mean, unless, I don't know, the Renegade Cut go all John Wick and tear it to the underworld. Okay, where's the guy who stole my package? And then he's like, he just kept beating up people and eventually clawed his way to the top. It was like the kingpin. I have your package.
I want to imagine that he thought he was like Batman or something. He's like looming over some dark alley. He's like, where's my package? Where is it?
The package is going. That's my headcanon now. Renegade Cut just went all John Wick on me, and then crawled his way up to the top, and finally he got to the kingpin, like the guy who runs the entire underworld mafia.
Okay.
And the guy has a package. Like, I have your package, Renegade Cut. He's like a right wing. He's like a MAGA, has a MAGA hat on, and he's a Trump supporter. He's like, I got your package, Renegade Cut.
1 second. I want any of you artists out there. I want you to draw Renegade Cut as some really shitty vigilante. He's really obsessed about getting his package back. He's like, where's the package?
Where are the other packages going?
Where's my small package?
Don't get the cops involved.
So the cops show up and he's all just runs away.
Oddly enough, that'd be pretty Republican. Just take matters into your own hands. Defend your own stuff. That's pretty right wing.
Well, no, because he would be assaulting people, and then like the innocent people would be like, "Hey, look, cops! That guy assaulted me." It's like the cops are evil.
Yeah, it's against the law, but it's more like taking the matters into his own hands instead of relying on the government. That's it's more like a self-discipline, self-liberty, individual liberty. Yeah.
I like what Oral Master put. Darkness, no package. Couldn't keep my straight face.
This is so good. That's so Skaven. Taken 3 Renegade Cut Amazon gone coming this summer. When a man has lost his package, how far will one man take back his box of Gamer Girl bathwater?
Oh my god, it's amazing. We just make our own entertainment from this video. It's amazing.
I don't know who I'm supposed to be rooting for here. I want to root for Tim Curry, but that's just by default.
Root for Kevin McAllister.
Kevin bumps into the Wet Bandits, who admittedly tried to kill him immediately. Kevin learns Harry and Marv are going to rob a toy store and takes it upon himself to stop them by luring them to an empty home under renovation where he has set up some new traps. Kevin does not live in this home in New York. It belongs to his never-seen uncle, the same man who hosted them in Paris. Kevin has no real claim to the home, and even if he could argue
part of his
that
family,
it belongs
right?
to his extended family, the Wet Bandits have no design.
This has got nothing to do with the 2 laws which he's talking about. This is him trying to stop them from robbing a store. He's actively trying to save the property of I don't know. He's a small business or something. Like the small business having their toys stolen or something, their merchandise stolen, and he's trying to stop it. That's what he's doing. He's not defending his property at this point. He's stopping them from stealing someone else's property.
On it, Kevin lures them to this building. Castle Doctrine may not come into play here. It's not even a stand-your-ground state.
He's a kid. I think there are some things that you can't apply to kids when they do things underwater.
Renegade Cut. You know, maybe the reason why is because this has fucking nothing to do with standing your ground.
What are you trying to argue here? That they're going to make Kevin McAllister go to jail? They should send him to jail because he defended himself against two grown men who had hostile intentions against him? I don't think so. I don't think that's going to work very well in court.
It takes place in New York, which has Castle Doctrine laws, but not stand your ground. And that's bad news for Kevin, because his traps are so much more deadly this time around. Kevin throws bricks at Marv's head over and over again, and Marv just takes it like a champ. Like, this should have killed him many times over, but I guess he has Homer Simpson's disease, where he can't even be knocked out. Good for him.
I love he says, like, Marv takes it like a champ, like he's trying to, it's like, oh, Marv, I really like Marv. Marv is sticking it to the man. He's stealing from the rich.
Oh, dear.
Marv was secretly the hero all along.
The villain of the story is the hero. Like, what? No, you're wrong.
You were like the child was secretly the villain this entire time.
It's like, what? What movie are you watching again?
Have if you're in a life of crime. If I could just take a detour to this different but still related topic of how the poor are portrayed in Home Alone 2.
Okay.
That's a yikes. That's a big yikes, right?
Why?
So in Home Alone 2, Kevin is briefly forced to live among the poor after he's been caught defrauding this hotel.
Hey, Trump.
God, Donald Trump. Why are you connected to everything that's bad? Anyway,
he had to do that.
Ooh. Like, I haven't, like, seen this in, like, a very long time. So is, like, the second one good or bad?
It's like that scene with Trump was, like, 10 seconds. It wasn't even a big deal.
No, but, like, the film itself, is, like, the second film good or bad?
I don't remember it. I only remember the first one. Hard to say.
Let me check. Home Alone 2. What's the ratings for it? What's the general consensus? It's voted about out of 2,000 votes, it's about a 7 out of 10 stars.
Yeah.
Which is all right.
It wasn't horrible. It wasn't memorable. I do remember the bricks, though. That's the funniest. Once you see that, you're like, okay, come on. This is a joke, right? But we knew it was a joke. We knew it was comical. It was supposed to be a cartoony live-action show.
Slapstick.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point.
Can't stay at the hotel anymore, so he more or less lives in the park for a while. And every encounter with someone is like meeting an eldritch, a bump.
So these are affectionately called brownstones, the style of building, in case you guys are curious. This is before they became townhouse brownstones, where they slice each layer into an apartment nowadays, just because in Toronto that's what's happening. We have all this real estate popping up, and it's really expensive, and you only get one floor. But this is how it used to be. Nice three-story townhouse.
Combination stumbles upon a homeless person who laughs maniacally at him like he's, I don't know, planning to eat his fingers or something. You know, that common thing. And then Kevin is propositioned by 2 sex workers, and what? No! No.
It's called New York at Night. This is totally stereotypical and totally fine for a comedy. I see nothing is wrong with this.
Way to dehumanize sex workers, Home Alone 2.
No, it's just, oh my God.
I mean, I realize this was made last century, but still. They basically make a mildly indecent come on and then laugh at him. Kevin then encounters a humble cab driver who is visually framed like a demon.
He's a kid we're looking at it from Kevin's perspective. He's a kid. Everything to him is going to be fucking terrifying in the middle of night in a city he does not know.
You could argue,
imagine that. A 9-year-old kid lost in New York at night, full of strangers and what looked to be weird people to his perspective.
You could argue, depending on exactly when this was taking place, that Chicago's a lot worse than New York. probably nowadays it is, because we have in Toronto we have worse crime than New York does nowadays. So I don't know how it was back in the day, but I would argue it was probably just as bad.
I get that we're seeing this from a child's perspective, but it's also the audience's perspective now, right?
What?
So he's even admitting that he's seeing it from a child's perspective. But then what does the audience perspective have to do?
What does that even mean? You're watching the film. It's a comedy. You're noticing the character of Kevin. He's scared. He's a kid. He's seeing all these strange faces he's never seen before.
The audience perspective is Kevin's perspective.
Well, essentially.
What the fuck? So, yes, we're looking through the eyes of a 9-year-old.
The worst of this is when Kevin befriends the pigeon lady, who is somehow both the heart of the film and is never given a name. I recognize...
Oh, no. Isn't that a good thing? You don't have to give her a name if she's the heart of the film. You've just given her one. I think that's beautiful.
Is he trying to say that it's trying to say homeless people don't have like names or something, or they're not worthy of them, or they're not humanized? Like it's trying to dehumanize homeless people because it didn't give homeless people a fucking name?
I don't see the problem with this, yeah.
That Kevin learns to trust the pigeon lady despite her appearance, and that's part of the movie and part of the message of the movie, but that message is undermined by everything else that happens. You can't say that's the point when the point is obscured.
No one's saying it's the point.
Well, no, I think part of the pigeon lady is, the age-old don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, but that's not the major theme. Like he's really reaching here. It's like I don't remember the film, but Kevin walking around and trying to get his bearings is hardly the theme of the whole film. And
also, this is before. So, okay, I'm going purely off memory here, but all the things he's scared of purely based on what they look like is earlier before he starts befriending the pigeon lady, and I can't think of anything after that which he suddenly he's really scared of because it's something which he doesn't know or it looks scary.
Compared to everything else, yeah, she's the least scary of what we just saw. So what's wrong with that?
Well, and then Kevin learns his lesson, as far as I remember, after he meets this lady, and everything which he's pointing to is before this lady.
The pigeon lady's origin story is that she's homeless because she had a bad relationship once, and now she just doesn't trust people. No reference to our stratified economic system or income inequality. Nope.
What the fuck?
Why would it need to have anything to do with income inequality?
What? Is she going to have a social economic tirade about being poor? Like being trampled on by the man? Like what?
Maybe she, I don't know, maybe she needed a scene where she started saying, I got paid less because I was a woman, and because of that I wasn't able to afford my apartment, and I was thrown out, and because I was thrown out I couldn't get a job anymore.
Like why would a homeless lady care about economic theory at this point in her life? I mean, what a strange thing to say. Because I'm homeless, therefore there's a certain Laffer curve where taxation does not equal a proper amount that the government is taking from the people who are working. But since I don't have a job, I don't have to worry about that. Like, no, she wouldn't start talking about economics. Just maybe.
Well, you see, I put my money into a company, and I put my savings into a company, and then the bank went bankrupt because it was irresponsible with its money, and therefore I lost everything I earned and I became homeless. Obviously, that's the real backstory they should have gone with.
Yeah, it's a little strange. Renegade Cut. There should have been some politics in this backstory.
There should have been some economics.
Like, why?
Do you know what this film needs? It needs more economics.
I don't know if you guys remember watching King of Queens, where Eddie Murphy goes to Queens, New York, and he meets these two guys, bums on the street, and he hands them this wad of cash from a lunch bag. And the guy goes to the other guy, he goes, "Larry, we're back." Because they just got all this money, and they were probably like investment bankers or day traders or something crazy like that. Like you just with those two lines, we get enough to understand that they used to be something. And now, because Eddie Murphy and his character, he's a king or a prince from another African country, what have you. He's super rich, so he wanted to start from nothing. Like you get so much in that one little shot. You don't need to know their economic backstory and what they did to become this or that. It's a beautiful scene. It's funny. It's quick. It's fast.
Nope. She just had one bad breakup. The implication here is that the pigeon lady is homeless by choice. Okay, so according to the National Law Center on Homelessness and Poverty, the top 4 causes of homelessness among families.
It's a bad movie because it's telling us that homeless people are homeless by choice. Well, he must be a one lithe figure to do this sort of mental gymnastics.
Just because, he's going to say a lot of homeless people are unemployed because of the lack of affordable housing and unemployment. It's like, but that doesn't mean that someone else could become homeless through like another means.
Some people choose. Some people actually choose to be homeless. Some people actually do that.
Just hashtag not all homeless.
Just
people.
Look at these reasons. Look at how stupid.
It's not a message in the movie about how homeless people just choose to be homeless. It was a character moment for her. Why she's so strange. Why she's a pigeon lady. And because she lost someone who was dear to her, and she kind of let her life go to ruins. That happens to people a lot. You lose something important to you, and you kind of lose all faith in your own life. It's not about the movie trying to say that the right wingers are right. Everyone's just homeless because they choose to be. That's not it. It is it if you're a weirdo political person.
Yeah, look where he's going with this. This is insane. Causes of homelessness among families. Causes of homelessness among individuals.
Okay, drugs. Like druggies who become homeless because they always spend money on drugs or they don't look after themselves. It's people who don't do anything with their lives, so that they end up not being able to get a job, which means they don't get kicked out and they can't where they have to go.
Really easy, and it's just to list these reasons are dumb. We don't care why people are homeless. I can logically figure that out in a few steps, but I don't have to figure that out to understand the characterization of the pigeon lady. Why are we even going this? Like, what is the point of this? Do you guys know
reasons why people can become homeless? And it's like, what like
I could burn all my money right now. I'll be homeless. Okay, I'm now the pigeon lady. Bravo. Do we need to know this? Do we? No, we don't need to know these things.
The United States are lack of affordable housing, unemployment, poverty, and low wages, in that order.
So you're saying that she should have gone into a massive speech about, that Mexicans came over and started taking jobs. and maybe you should go into a massive speech about how, foreign companies are buying up housing to basically raise the prices so it's worth a lot more, or raise. She says, "Oh well, the big bad corporation, they just didn't pay me enough because the minimum wage isn't enough."
Like just look at this nonsense. Lack of affordable housing, no shit. Unemployment, no shit. Poverty, no shit. Low wages. Well, this is interesting because if you look at the first 3, this is what communism promises. It'll give you housing. Everyone will be employed. Everyone will be in poverty, and everyone will have low wages. So,
Renegade Cut, you've already passed the 10-minute mark. Okay, you don't need to make up nonsense, absolute nonsense out of thin air to pad this out even more. Okay, you already made the mark. You can put multiple ads on your stream. You can put multiple ads on your video.
I like that he defines the difference between the two. So cause of homelessness amongst families, cause of homelessness amongst individuals, and there's only like one difference between them. So families is specifically low wages, and the other one is like lack of mental health services.
I'm crazy. There's no psychologists around me. I'm going to go homeless now.
I'm just crazy. He's not just going to go homeless for no reason.
Thanks, Renegade Cut. I really needed to know that. That puts the pigeon lady in such a different context I wasn't thinking about. Oh.
Among individuals, like the pigeon lady, for example, were lack of affordable housing, unemployment, poverty, and lack of mental health services. so this should be obvious, but people are homeless for economic reasons. That's right.
Holy shit! He cracked the code. No one
ever said that it was the case. No one ever said that in this movie. This movie never made that claim.
When you're poor, that means you don't have money. Whoa! How do you get money, boys and girls? Well, let's see. You get a job, you steal it, or I don't know, you print it like the evil Federal Reserve. I don't know. Like what do we need to do here?
There's no point in this movie that's whether they say explicitly or anyway, not even remotely, that she just all homeless people just choose to be homeless. No, it's her. It's a core element of her character. Her character, not all homeless people, but her character. That's where we get human drama from. That's why you can't really succeed with categories and stuff. It's because you get rid of the individual. That's what the drama comes from. Is it her individual drama, her individual choices, her individual life?
But isn't like Renegade Cut someone who's like a very much against stereotypes, and then he's trying to enforce like a stereotype of homeless people?
I don't know. I think the mindset of the socialist is to put everyone in classes. So stereotype is just a categorization of patterns that you recognize. That
quickly, I do like Pretty Hood's comment: the cause of homelessness, lack of housing. Duh. Well done. Why do these people not have any homes? Maybe because we don't have enough homes.
Maybe there are homes, but they don't have enough money to afford the homes. Oh, wait, maybe they don't have jobs to get the money. Oh, whoa, you're blowing my mind.
I'm
pretty sure a 5-year-old fucking knows this.
Capitalism. Our current economic system purposefully stratifies people into economic classes and both allows and encourages the hoarding of wealth.
Okay, so people amassing wealth. You can amass wealth when you're poor. You can amass wealth when you're middle class. You can amass wealth at any point in your life. It may not be as much as the next person.
Savings account.
You could open a savings account. You could have a jar and put money in there. It's the same thing. Okay? That's it. Anyone can do it. It's a good practice, and I recommend everyone talk to your banker or person or a family member that knows about banking. Simple thing in life. Okay?
Open up a savings account, and then whenever you have some spare money, what you do is you put it in the savings account, and then maybe later down the line, you could possibly buy something which you couldn't normally afford. Like, I don't know, a nice trip. Maybe you could afford something nice for your family, a good present, a treat for yourself. Or maybe it could be very useful in a time where you don't have, your money is low. Or maybe, you lose your job, so therefore you have to rely on your savings. Maybe that's a good reason why you should save your wealth.
See, we're teaching. We're fun and we're entertaining, and we have a lesson to teach everyone in this podcast.
Well, apparently Renegade Cut doesn't know about savings.
Well, he doesn't know that hitting people over the head is a good thing when they're bad people, and trying to steal is also a bad thing. But
but you're not allowed to do that if you're rich.
If you're
the
guys who's stealing, if he's poor, then it's okay. If he's stealing from someone rich, that's even greater. So I don't know.
People like the Pigeon Lady are homeless because Kevin's family and guys like this aren't taxed enough to provide.
You know what? Fuck off. We're done. We're fucking done. I'm so pissed off at this guy right now.
No. There's only
this is so stupid. This is so goddamn dumb. How the hell did he turn this into a Trump bashing? How did he do this? Because they're not taxed enough? Are you kidding me? This is nonsense.
I didn't hear that. You yelling too much over it. I want to hear what he said.
This is okay. We'll rewind it. But this is so stupid.
Classes and both allows and encourages the hoarding of wealth. People like the Pigeon Lady are homeless because Kevin's family and guys like this aren't taxed enough to provide.
Fuck me.
And because
Trump is better than you, Renegade Cut. Trump is a better person. Trump is a better human being than you are, Renegade Cut. Okay, Trump is a better human being than you.
Trump has given tens of thousands of people jobs, okay? I don't care if you like him. I don't care if you dislike him. Economically, he's done more for you than other people in your life.
By a lot. How many jobs have you made for people, Renegade Cut?
I wish I could be as successful as Trump, even if I don't own a real estate or what have you. Like if I don't have a penny to my name, if I could do the things he did for his community. And yeah, I'm not saying he's a saint. I'm sure there's lots of shady stuff he did to make those deals with real estate or what have you. I don't know these stories, and I don't care.
Also, he's human beings are flawed, and when you give people, when you give a flawed person a lot of money, obviously they're going to be some the flawed nature of humanity is going to come out a lot more as well.
I've worked with lots of CEOs that were dicks, and they know what's best for their company better than I do. That's fine. Good for them.
It's almost like someone is kind of a bit separate from their economic status.
I don't know. I think he's getting this socialism thing. He's pushing it way too far. He's just too obsessed with whatever philosophy he's indoctrinated himself. It's driving me nuts.
But Smud, we only have 1 minute and 30 seconds left.
Yeah.
Come on, we can do this. If not, you can step away, and me and LiteratureDevil will deal with the last minute.
Either way, Trump is still a better human being than Renegade Cut, especially economically.
Smud, step away for a minute. Have whatever you Canadians drink. I don't know. I assume it's. I don't know. LiteratureDevil, what do Canadians drink? You'd probably know.
I'm not Canadian.
I know you're not Canadian, but I just want to. What's the stereotype?
Maple syrup?
We drink American beer. How's that?
Syrup.
Cheap American beer. It's the best kind of beer. It's the least expensive. There you go.
Well, go drink some poutine.
That's oh God.
And collective. But sure, Home Alone 2, the Pigeon Lady just needs a new attitude and a pep talk from Kevin McAllister, and then she can just decide not to be homeless because she individually has power over our global economic system.
What?
No, her own choice because it's part of her character.
But funnily enough, you can influence your life. You have a lot of control over your life with your choices. You can, even if you fail all your grades at school, you can go back and you can redo them. You can try and get a better job. You can go to university. It's all your choice. It's all up to you. How well you do at school or university, it's purely based on how hard you're working. Your entire status in life is often going to be based a lot more on how hard you work for it. And how well you take advantage of the opportunities that are given to you. Often enough, the opportunities which you have, you don't even know you have. And it passes so many people by that there's so many things they could do, and they just don't do it because they don't realize they can do it.
Okay, anyone who says the word global economic system, just tell them to fuck off, okay? If you want to talk about...
The global economic system is just so toxic because it creates homelessness. And the fact that we have a global economic system really means that we are backwards as people. And it makes me horrified that the global economic system enables homelessness in African children. And I think someone should really go out there and teach African children JavaScript.
Even if you compare the NASDAQ and the NYSE, which are the two largest markets in the world, they're both American. We're talking about at least, 40-45% of the world marketplace. That's just the stocks and the funds and the various other things you can trade on the market. Okay, that does not the stock market does not represent the economic system or the world economic system or whatever the hell that even is. So whatever bullshit this guy has been eating, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. So. I don't know.
And he starts eating garbage.
Yeah, I don't get it.
The Renegade Cut comes in there and he throws garbage all over the ring, and he starts eating garbage.
I don't know. It's just
I don't know.
Whenever you understand anything like with banking or making money or saving money or having a business, you learn something. You learn. It takes a long while, but you learn something. When he starts saying bullshit like this. Even to the day trader or the investment banker or whatever, they're like, what planet? Like, what is he getting at? Like, what is he trying to say? Like, he's so vague. She's
so
homeless.
Now you know how I feel when some random dipshit who thinks they actually know about what they're talking about, like that video. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Make Stuff, and there's a couple others that like talk about visual effects or like 3D stuff, and they think visual effects. The point of visual effects is either to inspire or some other bullshit. Like, no, that's not the point of visual effects at all, you fucking twat. It's like the people talk about something. Like another thing was the article I'm currently responding to, making this video that's probably about 40 minutes long.
Yeah.
They start saying Clone Wars and Rebels is very easy to compare because they are both 3D animated shows using the same 3D animated techniques, and they have the same 3D. Fuck off right now. No, you do not know what the fuck you're talking about. You're just throwing it in there. What do you mean by techniques? Because that can be a very generic term. You could mean anything from the software you're fucking using to hard surface modeling or sculpting. And even then, there's like lots of different ways, like sub techniques of sculpting, and there's different ways of hard surface modeling. So you can never just say like techniques in a general term. You have to be very specific.
Yeah,
that
sounds like an interpretation of a visual concept to art. So I can get like some YouTubers will, or even just people writing on blogs will say weird stuff. It's like, that's strange interpretation. But this guy, the only thing I can get from him, he's an egoist, and he thinks he's better than the rest of us because he has this.
That is true.
He has this weird philosophy that must be better because he thought of it or he read it in a book or something. And anyone who has any semblance of saving money would be like, what are you talking about?
Okay. In conclusion, and in summation, if Home Alone were real, I would sympathize with Kevin because, you know, he's a child, and the Wet Bandits are not to be trusted. But Kevin and his antagonistic relationship with the Wet Bandits hits a little too close to home because of the incredible rights granted to homeowners to kill anyone who trespasses on their property.
We're close to home?
Home Alone is a...
But you just admitted yourself you haven't had anything close to this. How the fuck is it close to home?
He didn't kill anyone, so everything he's talked about, the stand your ground doctrine or whatever nonsense, is immaterial. No one died. Violence was committed by themselves. Okay, maybe shooting them in the head is, violent, but he has every right to do that. And no one died. So, super chat, sorry. Alex Halo, last time they had a temporary tax on the rich, it became permanent, and they made a tax on everyone. I don't know when that was or which country that was, but if you tax the rich at the same rate of everyone else, that would be pretty powerful. And that's why we have tax brackets, at least in Canada. I know there's tax brackets in the States as well. So if you tax the rich at like 45% and you tax everyone else at 45%, that is not going to fly. You're going to break families. You're going to destroy homes. So, but okay. I don't know the history of what specific Alex is talking to or about. So,
very conservative film about an amorphous crime threat trespassing in a neighborhood.
It's not amorphous. It's two guys.
In a political lens. A political lens. So you painting this as a Kevin McAllister is totally a right winger who defends his property. I like that. Awesome. Fantastic. It's not about that, but I like the idea of people being able to defend themselves. That sounds good to me.
Yep.
Especially against intruders who want to steal from them and to violate their property and their person.
I mean, he could do the same thing against the Roadrunner cartoon. He can make the same stupid argument. The coyote just wants to eat. He's hungry. That's a human right. He should be able to eat whatever he likes. But the Roadrunner keeps running away, and he keeps hurting the coyote. The coyote is smart. He makes all these clever. He keeps losing. It's like, yeah, that's the point. We want to see the guy, the bumbling idiot, try and fail. Because the Roadrunner is the fastest thing alive, and you can't catch him, and that's the point. He'll spin it into some political ideology. You're like, oh my God. Leave the cartoons alone.
They don't belong, and how justified and virtuous the Suburban families are for violently defending themselves against these outsiders. It's still a really good movie, don't at me, but it's also a kind of family-friendly revenge fantasy.
No, it's not. You had absolutely nothing. Where was this title have anything to do with your weird nonsense about stand your ground and the rich. Where?
Look at kids. It's a kid's fantasy. Be able to stand up to adults, and a kid who can defy their need for adults and can just stand on his own. It's a kid's fantasy. It's children's fantasy.
What if a kid could do whatever he wanted to defend his house? Here's a story about that. It's fun and wacky and silly. It's a kid's show. It's for Christmas too, which is great because you don't get too many children's Christmas stories that are fun and cute and violent and this and that. Aside from Die Hard, which maybe not the best Christmas kids movie.
Merry Christmas. It's November.
Your parents have flown, now you're home alone. What now?
Mom?
Do you go crazy? Go through your brother's stuff?
Cool, firecrackers.
Perhaps sled down the stairs. It's all up to you.
I'm the man of the house.
But what if it's also up to you to protect your house from crooks?
I'm up here, you morons!
All right. Whew. All right, guys. That was a ride. I'm surprised Dunn didn't show up because he recommended this one. But I guess
Renegade Cut really pad this one out, didn't he? It's a really padded video.
Well, I thought he has longer ones, but so I don't know. I guess he was a lack of info.
What if we just did something to cheer us up? Just a little bit of Robot Chicken.
Revenge fantasy. We could use one right now.
Robot.
Yeah, should we do it?
No, I'm gonna get demonetized. So no, it's not good. But I do recommend watching this. That'd be cool. We could have game night. I don't know if you guys want to have a game or two.
I think I'll pass for today.
All right, maybe tomorrow.
Maybe another time. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. That was Renegade Cut as usual. He drives us nuts because he's thinking on another planet half the time and making references that don't belong anywhere. So, yeah, communism good. Remember that, folks.
Thanks for the $5 super chat.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have yourself a great Friday. Take it easy. Keep those suggestions coming in the suggestions section of the Discord. And we'll talk to you guys real soon, okay?